Hello and welcome to Vtuber Talk. I'm your host Jay and thank you so much for joining us this evening. For those of you who haven't been here before, Vtuber Talk is designed after classic late night talk shows. Everything here is live, casual, and the goal is to simply have fun conversations that will entertain people who are already familiar with the guest while still being accessible for new fans. Well, first off, goodness, thank you so much for the raid, Angel Steps. Welcome on in, Raiders. I hope you're having a good evening. Please welcome my guest for this evening, Angel Steps.
Hi!
Hello! Also, I'm realizing you are overlapping chat just a little bit. Sorry, that's my bad. Nudge yourself a little bit to the left again. Or just cover them up entirely. That's also valid.
Hi.
Hello. How are you doing, Angel? How are you doing?
I'm good, you?
Well, I'm doing well, not quite as busy as you, because good Lord. I mean, when you're not going on vacation, getting sick, or getting sick before that, or having to deal with mold in the house before that, or having to deal with other things between that. And
I actually forgot about that. So much has gone wrong. I somehow wiped both mold instances from my brain.
That's fair. And that today alone, you had a dental appointment, a convention meet and greet, a Cobblemon stream, which we will be talking about in pretty short order, I think, actually. And now you're here.
I was supposed to have a tracking session for singing too, but my voice is too fucked, so unfortunately we had to push that back. Really feel bad about it. I feel really bad about it.
Well, you make do with what you got, and I'm very glad that we were able to make time for this tonight, because we've been talking for a while, and that we actually got to a scheduled date at one point, but things were hectic on your end, and I kind of, like, I said, no, let's not. That you're really busy right now. I can tell you're stressed. I don't want you there if you're going to be, you know, just not at your best. And, well, okay, you still got a little bit of vocal pain right now. That at least mentally you're good. That you're not, like, super stressed. That you're in a great mood. You were having an awesome time on stream earlier. And at the very least, you know, we'll take what we can get because, hey.
Look, my head's in the right place. My body is trying to keep up, but it's not winning the race. But it will still hit the finish line, and that's all that matters.
Yes, indeed. Well, again, thank you for the raid, and also thank you, the Pieman339 and Nightmare King 666 for the follows. Welcome on in.
All right, I'm actually going to take a screenshot of us real quick, if you're cool with that. Everyone can say cheese, chat included, because I wanna show my community to come on over if they weren't in the raid. Okay, ready? Chat, get ready. 3, 2, 1, cheese. All right, I got it. Now time to go yell at
everyone. For pictures when you're a VTuber, it's great.
Right? Okay, right now. Oh, hold on.
But yes, so I'm not sure if anybody actually caught it while you were doing your stream, but I am also actually in that Cobblemon server, and I died. I went underground, and Creeper snuck up behind me. Didn't even see it. It just went boom.
Oh, well, your stuff should still be there.
I didn't have much anyways. All I had was like a couple of wooden pickaxes. Fun fact, I am awful at Minecraft. I played the creative beta way back in the day of 2011 when you had
the old days.
Like before it was actually done, before creepers existed.
Oh my goodness.
I made basically pixel art with friends. It was my freshman year of college. It was great. And then when the actual full game came out, it wasn't that I didn't enjoy it, but I was so busy with other things and I had sort of gotten my fill that I played it for a couple months. It was like, you know, okay, they added in a couple other features, but I don't feel the need to get in there. And then I turn around like 6 months later and it's one of the biggest things in the world, and now it just is the biggest thing in the world.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a whole different game now.
Oh yeah. And it's weird to think, okay, I was in there early, I'm the hipster, but also I completely missed the boat.
Oh no.
So this is actually going to be the first SMP server that I have been in, and I'm not actually going to be a normal participant. I'm going to be occupying effectively an NPC role. I specifically did not want to be a trainer. I want to do fun things on the side.
Oh, okay. That's intriguing.
Yeah, so I'm going to be hopping around. I'm actually talking with the folks running the server, Crunchbite and
So you're not going to come take my challenge, I then hear.
No, but I might be commentating it.
Oh, okay. So I've more or less told chat that I'm in the Elite Four. Not telling
Yes,
you
are.
which one in order, because we are doing an order. But you know, I'm in the Elite Four, and I plan on kicking some people's butts.
Yeah. And I was just like, I know basics of competitive Pokemon. I've watched some of the World Championships over the years, and that I could commentate pretty effectively. But for whatever reason, I've just never really felt the drive to make my own competitive team, and that I enjoy watching a lot more than competing in that way. So I pinged Tane a while back and was like, hey, if you want, you know, sort of a shoutcaster for the league finals when they happen later in the month, love to help with that. And until then, you know, I'll hop around the server, be an NPC if there's any story stuff or just funny gags, whatever. And I'm going to talk with things about just being able to give sort of side quests. So we'll see how that all goes, but it's sounding like things have already gotten really lively. I was noticing they were already at server capacity.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see that. I was really worried at first, just because SMPs are... They're a very ambitious project, and there's a lot of them. And Cobblemon specifically gets very complex, and especially when you open it up to a lot of like streamers. I love streamer-specific projects, but we're all very busy, like we talked about earlier. And trying to get everyone into a project like this all together can be very hard. And my biggest fear, right? My biggest fear is that was because this has already been cleared, was that we were going to launch it, and outside of our gym leaders in the Elite Four, like, no one would log on launch day. And I was really worried about that. But I logged in and I saw there was 11 people, including me, and
like,
they
all
were
right, we
just
got
stacked.
there.
And I was like, we're fine. We're fine.
At this
I
point,
went to spawn and people were running around and catching Pokemon and talking and laughing. And I was like, this is what I wanted. But it's what I was so scared would fumble. So like, we've already cleared the worst part.
Yeah.
It's just up from here.
At this point, I think like one challenge, maybe see if we can increase the server cap. That way, you know, you don't want so many people being super eager in days 1, 2, and 3, but there's a cap, and then people can't log in, and then by day 4, 5, 6, those who couldn't log in are like, well, I missed the boat, so I'm probably just going to drop out and not be there. And that then really whittles down the game population for later on.
I do think that we're planning on having the gyms open for multiple weeks, so luckily at least there's a time frame for that. But like, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that, especially if you're running the late like CST, EST time frame, there's going to be a lot of competition for those time slots.
Yeah.
Late PST is going to have less time competition. Early morning is going to have less time competition.
Anyone in Australia is completely safe.
But the problem with 15 cap, if there's 8 gym leaders, 4 Elite Four members, and a champion, how many players does that leave space for? That leaves space for like 2 players. That's kind of a problem. So I'm sure there's going to be some adjustments on that, and/or staff are going to get put on some sort of schedule or something. I'm not sure what the exact plan is there, but that is definitely a hiccup that will have to get discussed. But luckily, we never hit full cap. We just kept getting really close, so it hasn't been a problem yet. It just might turn into a problem as the ball rolls.
Yeah, and just hoping that people, you know, even if they're not playing every day, but that getting them to come back, you know, every so often. And that my guess is there will probably be a lot of activity these first couple of days, especially because it's lining up with a weekend. It'll probably wane as we get into the week. And my guess is week 2 and early week 3 is probably going to seem really quiet, and that people might get worried for a moment. And my guess is that then going to spike up again near the end.
We have some surprises that should hopefully address that, but I can't talk about them yet.
I know that I know some basic ideas of surprises because I, as an NPC, might get involved in things, but even I don't know the full scope. I just know that Crunch and Tane and others will say, hey, Jay, we need you to do this thingy, or go be this type of character, and I'll be like, okay, sounds fun.
Yeah, I can't talk about what I do know, and there's a lot of things that I haven't been told because of being gone for 3 weeks. I missed a lot of the last minute data, but I do know of some of the plans that we have to fulfill those middle points, and kind of just go from there. Sorry, still recovering. Forgive me.
Oh, good. But for you as an Elite Four member, that you don't have a gym challenge to do, and that apart from assembling your team and just being ready for the end game, what are your personal goals in this server? What do you want to do? Do you have like any particular characterization as an Elite Four member, or are you just going to be going around doing silly things?
Okay, well, I can tell you a joke I had in the beginning that is kind of not really a joke. And I highly doubt too many players are watching right now. It's probably just community members, so I think it's safe to bring up.
All right, chat. Don't leak this.
So my master plan was I was going to roleplay as the fisherman that's in every Pokemon game that only has Magikarps, right? So I'm going to go around and I'm just going to throw Magikarps at people and I'm going to challenge people to fights and I'll give them like coins or stuff if they win. And then I'm the Water Elite Four, so I was gonna
hustle them.
I was gonna open with my Gyarados.
I just have Magikarps. Nothing terrible here. Oh wow, you beat all the Magikarps. Here's some coins, and then they see.
And then the Elite Four happens,
game.
And I want my first Mon out in the field to be Gyarados, which of course is strategically fun because of Intimidate.
Anyways. Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like
it's narrative. It's narrative and party building. I love it.
There's two other strats though that I'm like, I really want to run one of these other two strats, but they would require a different opener. And I'm like, oh man, the meme. So I have my concepts. I do plan on doing that. I was gonna run around on my Whale Lord and flood the world, which I attempted to do today.
You did mention that you felt very inspired by Team Aqua, and that after seeing them and their goals, that you were like, yes, I align with this. I love this concept. Let's flood the world.
Yep. Well, when I was a kid, I was doing marine biology studies, and I went to the beach every weekend and we'd camp out like on the water. Like I grew up as an ocean kid, and Pokemon Sapphire was the first Pokemon game that I like really. I was like, this is my game, and like I killed the battery on that Game Boy Advance thing.
Oh yeah.
And I understood like the concept of the whole environmentalism. Now they're obviously very stupid because the ocean would die if we killed everything, so it doesn't really work.
Yeah,
but I thought it was a cute idea. It was a cute idea. Good job, buddy. Nice try. Oops, Daisy, didn't work, but okay,
Archie,
we'll go for
heart
it.
of gold, head of bone.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. So I was gonna even like get like a Team Aqua skin for my Minecraft character, but I tried to flood spawn only to discover you can't use buckets of water on top of Wailord. And I got really sad.
Then what's the point?
Exactly.
Point.
So I had to manually run around and drop buckets while Wailord looked at me, but I did manage to kill Mia in a puddle of water, so I guess I succeeded today.
Yes, very nice. So what was your starter in that Sapphire game, and do you have a favorite starter of all time?
Mudkip.
Good taste. That is who I chose for mine. Even
I
though
like
I'm not going to be like battling and stuff, I
in,
still got a starter for the Cobblemon. It's gotta be Mudkip. Gotta be my boy.
Everyone gets a starter. Gen 3, I liked all the starters. I typically always lean water, like across the board. But Torchic's great, Trico's great, Mudkip's great. I love all three of them very much. There isn't a single Mon in that set that I dislike. But you know, can't go wrong with our boy Mudkip.
Yeah.
Swampert was gonna be on my team, but Gastrodon made more sense. So I was like, damn man, you gotta take the bench because I can't have two of the same type set.
Makes sense.
Which sucks because I love Swampert, but Gastrodon's just ridiculous.
Yeah. And I remember when I first played Diamond Pearl, because that's when Gastrodon came out, that I didn't like it as much, and then later on I said, oh man, it's just on a lot of other teams, and that
it's just so tanky.
It is.
So tanky. And I love tank strats in Pokemon. Nuzlocke have hardened me into really loving the beefy boys.
Oh yeah, and you just finished a Nuzlocke recently, didn't you?
I actually haven't completed it because I got too sick to finish the stream, but I'm at the Elite Four. I'm at Victory Road. We had a death that I have to recover from, so that sucks.
Which version? I think it was Leaf Green.
Yeah, we're doing Leaf Green. My Victory Bell went down, so now I have a level 25.
Chat for Victory Bell.
Yeah, 07. Silver's fucking dead. I have an Executor that I need to get up. He's at level 25, and I'm like, damn, does that mean I have to waste more time grinding levels? But here we are.
Well, the very
Victory Road would be a good place for that, though.
Is this a randomizer?
No, I actually don't like randomizers. I tried them once, and I found myself getting very bored, which was weird. And I realized through the experience, because we were doing Alpha Sapphire, and it's like one of my favorites, right? I realized that for me, the going through the grass and finding the Pokemon per route, even if it was like I've already gotten my catch, like that was something that I guess I really cared about. And the second that got ripped away and anything could show up anywhere at any time, I lost some of my interest. And it became a chore to play. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to go through this feeling this way.
Yeah. And that when you're not in a randomizer, you're able to actually establish some sort of strategy, at the very least of knowing, okay, I want to go to this route, and that you can, to an extent, manipulate your encounter of...
I can EV train, I can plan out what I'm doing if I want specific catches. There are things I can do to strategize it, and I really love that strategy aspect of it. I think randomizers are more for... Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Hold on.
Stand by.
I didn't want you to hear that. I think randomizers are more for players that have replayed Pokemon enough that they need something new and interesting. Yeah. And or they're so good at it, they need that extra like random challenge. But that's just not really not what I'm there for. I'm still learning a lot about Pokemon like as we go. Like I didn't understand EV trading until my last Nuzlocke. I'm only just now starting to wrap my head around some of the more fine-tuned aspects of it. And I'm a slow learner and I have to do it myself. If someone tries to tell me, I won't understand. You can yap at me or show me graphs all you want. Until I do it myself, I'm not going to get it. And I think it's just too early for me to do stuff like that. So I'm just happily going through normal Nuzlocks. And maybe at some point I'll get to that point, but it's not now.
Well, if it's not a randomizer, that means that you know what you're going up against with the Elite Four. And thinking through things, I'm kind of wondering if Executor is actually going to be better for the Elite Four than Victory Bell would have been.
It is actually better. I had been thinking about this prior, because currently my main strategy is relying very heavily on my Slowbro.
Okay, so you do already have Psychic.
Yes, Psychic is way too strong in this generation.
Gen 1. Oh, yeah. At the very least, like, they balanced it a bit because Fire Red, Leaf Green does have Steel and Dark, so it's not just outright busted like it was in the originals, but it's still quite unbalanced.
Because of the special physical split, a lot of the mons for Steel and Dark are kind of stupid.
Not good.
Like they took the first step, they didn't take the rest of it, and that's put it in a situation where I still can sweep with that, but things go wrong, right? And I don't like not having a plan B.
Yep.
And I had discussed prior swapping Victory Bell out for Executor. And I chose not to because of the level gap. I was like, that means more level grinding. We have taken too long on this Nuzlocke. But then Victory Bell died by pure chance. And now I'm like...
I was like, oh, well, already had plan B and...
the god said Executor. Anyway. So I feel like this was a sign to work up a secondary. Oh, we actually have 5 deaths. We have 5 deaths right now. Because my main plan was actually originally Snorlax. We were going to tank wall it.
Ooh, yeah. Snorlax in Gen 1 was real good.
Snorlax got Destiny bonded and died.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Destiny Bond went off first and it died. And I was like, that is bullshit. I should have remembered that happened.
But also the fact that his Destiny Bond's a ghost type move.
But Destiny Bond still works on normal types.
But it still works on normal types.
It's different than other ghost moves. Yeah. So fatal error in judgment. And what's worse is like I'm finally getting to the point where like I'm clicking and realizing these things. I realized that Destiny Bond was a possibility as I was hitting go. And then sure enough it didn't. And I was like
that awful moment of wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh no, what have I done?
Late. It's too late. It's too late at that point. And sure enough, that's what happened. And it went down and I was like, so yeah, that sucked, and I was really upset. And then we also lost my starter to that Snorlax, so that sucked. So there went Blastoise. And then I lost my Slowpoke to a Muck, and Slowpoke's my favorite Pokemon. And I had a mental breakdown. It was the start of our Slowpoke-a-thon, a 12-hour sub-event I was doing, and my Slowpoke died, and I was like, well, guys.
Well,
I don't want to be alive anymore. It's done.
It's been done. A good run. It was a short run, and
it's over. It's over now.
But you have your Slowpoke now in Cobblemon.
Oh, I have my Slowpoke still in thing. So we're playing with Species Clause and Dupe Clause, where I'm allowed to pick and choose. But the thing is I can still choose to catch a Slowpoke if it shows up. So since I've caught, there's not that many Pokemon in Leaf Green, which means near the end of it, if there's a lake in the middle of the town that drops a Slowpoke, I probably have every other Pokemon in there. I just have to fish for like 25 years and turn that catch into that instead. So I just started filling my box up with Slowpokes and eliminating all of my potential catches with just Slowpokes. Which I don't know how smart that is. My one moderator was like, you should just do all Slowbros at this point. Like, just buckle in. You're already catching like all of them. Like, oops, all Slowbro. Which, frankly, I think would actually be incredibly powerful.
Yeah, in Gen 1.
I think if I oops all Slowbro, it would be an easy win.
Amnesia and go to town.
Yep. So yeah, that was a contender. I have like 4 more Slowpoke in the PC. That if shit gets funny in Victory Road, like oops all Slowbro is Plan C. I just really hope we don't have to go to oops all Slowbro. I really hope that's not what it takes. Because we've got a pretty solid team. We've got Aerodactyl, which doesn't have that good of a set yet. Sandslash, we've got Dragonite, we've got...
Okay, so you got the Dragonite.
Yeah, we don't have Victory Bell anymore.
Because they do actually have more than one dragon move by the time you get to Leaf Green. Unlike in the original.
We aren't running dragon moves, though, because Dragonite's physical attack is like 147.
Oh, that's right. Yep, because it's still pre-physical special slit. That I very much point to Gen 4 as the biggest turning point in competitive Pokemon specifically. That I know a lot of people really love Emerald. I go back to Emerald.
I love Emerald, but it's clunky. I love it, but it's clunky.
I need the physical special slid. It made...
Sorry.
It made everything so much more viable, so much more logical. And yeah. But that makes sense, because Dragonite's very physical, so you're probably running things like Slam,
Body Slam, yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna do double team Body Slam. It's also got a Thunder coverage move. And there's something else that I'm blanking on. And then the last one is Raticate. So, Hyper Fang of our dreams. We're Hyper Fanging the Elite Four. So yeah, that's our current run. Raticate was the fill for Snorlax. And then the Victory Bell Executor swap was the one that was kind of unexpected. But the rest was pretty settled in. Sandslash has Earthquake, so that's our ground coverage. But like, looking at what the Elite Four is, I'm like, Slowbro can sweep. Slowbro can sweep all of them. The only one I have to kind of plan for, assuming shit doesn't go sideways, is the champion. And even then...
Yeah.
Outside of like 2 Mon, Slowbro is still going to be extremely strong.
Basically, because they didn't update Agatha's party, I think. So she's still running Gen 1 Mons, which means that everything is weak to Psychic. The ultimate irony from the anime, which had the whole thing, the whole plot line of, oh, Ghost is strong against Psychic. Not in the game. Not in the game. That was a design oversight.
Yeah. Oh, Raticate has Shadow Ball, by the way.
Ooh, okay. Oh, so, that's right, because isn't Ghost physical?
Yes.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
I'm sorry, that's so dumb.
So yeah, we've got Shadow Ball on Raticate. Which so we got our Dratini and all of our TMs at the game hall.
As far as on the game hall, yep. Oh no! You got the Dratini at the game hall too.
It's
expensive, but
I sat there and I gambled for like 4 streams.
I'm so sad that they removed the game corner in later games.
Yeah.
I understand why they had to, because gambling and kids. I wish they had kept in non-gambling games that the like the sort of the logic puzzle one that they had in Gold and Silver. I feel like if you remove the slot machines,
I'm sorry, was that the Minesweeper one? Because I hated the
sort of,
Minesweeper
yeah. Because there was that, and there was also
Voltorb Flip. That's what it's called.
Yeah, there was Voltorb Flip, and I think there was one other like card-based thing. I could be remembering incorrectly. That might be from a later one, but bottom line is, I wish they had left in the game corner. Just remove the slots. I get, okay, you don't want gambling in that sense. Totally fine. But that I like that there was, this little area where you could have the games and that you could use the coins to buy things. I thought it was a fun little side attraction.
I agree greatly. And I get a little salty on this one only because, like, I freaking love slot machines and games. But I don't care about gambling at all in reality. And I'm sure I can't be the only person that, like, will enjoy gambling with fake currency in a game.
Yeah.
But this doesn't transfer to any sort of IRL interest. And it sucks because now I can't gamble with like 99% of games because of it. And I'm like, give me my fake slot
of
machine
games
back.
Have monetized IRL gamba.
Right? Like, it's stinky. It's stinky. It makes me sad. I just want my virtual slots. Keep me away from the real slots.
I've used slot machines once in real life, and it was the first time that I was in Las Vegas, and I wasn't even there for being in Las Vegas, because the first time I was there was for a connecting flight going somewhere else. But I had a layover for like 2-ish hours.
And they're in the airport.
And they're in the airport.
Yep.
And I remember that I had, there was just an extra $1 bill in my wallet. And I said, okay, I'm in Vegas for the first time, technically, however short this trip to Vegas may be. I feel like I want the life experience of getting to say, I played a slot machine in Las Vegas. And the way this is going to go is either I am going to spin until this dollar is gone or until I am up. And I spin once and I get nothing. I spin twice, I get 75 cents. So I am now at $1.25 and I cash out because now I get to say I went to Vegas and took the house.
Yep. I actually haven't gone to Vegas since being 21 and actually being legal to like go into the gambling hall. But I have gambled. You can piece together that one.
Yeah.
My friends were older than me, so I went with them. And I knew I was supposed to stay in the hotel room. I didn't.
I mean, if you just happen to be hanging out with them while they happen to be at the slot machines and you happen to just pull on that lever for funsies once or twice while they happen to be sitting at the seat, are you really the one gambling in terms of...
There's actually a rule that you can't even enter the hall. Unless you are walking on the direct path to the hotel elevator, you cannot be in the hall. So here's the thing. My friends have baby faces. I don't. Okay? I don't. But my friends have baby faces, which is not good in the context.
So you were covering for each other, because if they had been there alone, they might have gotten questioned.
Well, here's the thing.
But that you were the one that was actually young.
Oh. So they're gambling. I'm just chilling with them on the down low. And we get pulled aside. Because my one friend, she's like 39, but she looks like she could be in like middle school. Like she baby-faced seriously, and she's really short and has a really small stature. So she gets carded all the time. So we get pulled over, and the guy's like, you guys can't be in here. Everything's bad. I'm sweating fucking bullets because I will get in trouble. They won't. I will. So they start with my friend. And he doesn't believe it. He's going through it. It checks the ID and everything. Realizes it's real. Gets to my next friend. And now at this point, I'm like, oh, that's it. It's fucking over. It's over, guys. It's over. It's so bad. He cards them. He looks at me and goes, oh, man, you three, I swear. And then walks off. And I like fall over and I'm like, ah! Ah! And then I got really insulted later because I realized he looked at me and thought I was old. Excuse me? Wait, no, card me.
Wait a second.
Put me in the cuffs.
How dare you?
I was so offended. But at the same time, I never got in trouble. So, that was my experience in Vegas. I didn't care, though, for the gambling. I don't know.
I've been back to Vegas twice since for various things. And I have not felt any urge to gamble at all. That just slot machines in particular. That I know the science and the stats behind slot machines. You don't need to look up much to know that they're probably the actual worst value of anything in Vegas. If I'm going to go and I'm going to gamble, I'm going to do something that's an actual game and have a bit of fun with it. I'll play poker, blackjack, or something. Probably still lose, but I at least find that more engaging than slot machines. That the colors and spinning wheels don't actually do anything for my brain.
I'm okay with penny slots because, like, they're fucking pennies. Like, whatever.
Do they still actually have proper penny slots?
Some do. Not very many, but some do. And so, like, I get that. That's in the same family as a scratcher. Like, hoo hoo. Like,
at that point, you're paying for the time of entertainment. And I can spend $5 and be here for an hour or something. And that's just,
but
time spent. But
I can't enjoy the idea of spending money with the knowledge of this as a potential loss. When I'm playing like a gacha game and I'm aiming for a character, I don't put that much money in it. And if I do put money in it, more than likely, I don't have any 5 stars and I plan on playing this game for a while, no matter what. So it's like, oh, okay, it's a free game.
Yeah.
I'll pay up to like the $39.99 that this probably would have been worth. And then I'm done. Like, I have no interest spending past that. Because I care too much about money value. Yeah. I'm like, this could have been groceries. Yeah, this could have been rent. Yeah, and like that thought makes it where I can't enjoy it.
Or even like $50, I look at it and say, all right, even if I'm talking entertainment, this could be a game. I could get a real good game off Steam for this, and the rush of gambling is just like not necessarily dread for me, but it's just that little bit of anxiety, and none of it is actually enjoyable.
It's not excitement. I think the thing
if I win, it's more relief than anything. That's not what I'm going for. That's not the fun. That's not fun.
I think other people are so focused on the chance of their lives changing and striking it rich that there's an overwhelming feeling of just like, this is I just have to keep going till like everything changes. I think it preys on people that are desperate. And if you have a mindset where your mindset is, I can save myself from being desperate through hard effort, then you're not as likely to fall into that trap, because I like working hard. I like what I do. I know that I can eventually make it to a place where I'm not terrified of, my home going away because I didn't make rent. And that if I just keep trying, I can get to there. And so I don't feel the need to pitch my whole life on a chance that I know is stacked against me. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm more likely to play Russian roulette than do that. I don't see any reason to. But I've definitely talked to a fair amount of people that don't feel that way. When they go, it's excitement, it's opportunity, and I just don't know how people see that.
Yeah, just for whatever reason, brain does not function that way, and that.
Yep.
I usually say, hey, for things I don't enjoy, whatever, I'm not gonna yuck someone else's yum, and that, gambling's an interesting one. On that specific occasion, say, okay, I just hope they go about it responsibly. That if you're able to walk into Vegas and say, I have set aside X amount of money, and I know that if I lose this money, I am not going to spend more, and that you are able to have fun and enjoy yourself in a responsible manner, then great, good on you. I just worry about the folks that aren't able to have that self-control. But that's an entirely different conversation.
No, very much so.
So is the leaf green Nuzlocke your first Nuzlocke?
No, this is my 5th. It's my 5th.
Oh, wow.
So my first one was Brilliant Diamond. And I've streamed all of them. And I went into Brilliant Diamond very stupidly, and it was a very hard one to pick out the gate. But Brilliant Diamond has like the friendship mechanics and a lot of newer quality of life things, and we made it through the Elite Four into Cynthia, all the way to Garchomp. But the problem is at the start of the Elite Four, I lost all of my Mon except a Luxray. But my Luxray decided that
wait, I think I was watching this.
Yeah.
I think my Luxray
like overdrived, and we hit the friendship mechanic every single turn. It would not die. it would just one HP everything on its own.
And Luxray that could.
Literally, and we made it all the way to Garchomp with that Luxray. Which was insane.
Against Luxray is not a good
matchup. We were fucked, dude. We were so screwed. Like, the only way it would have worked is if I had just started biting during the sword dances and then banked on flinch.
Flinch, yeah.
We would have had to hit every flinch to win that. And there is a chance. I consistently look back at that and I go, I actually could have won that one. It was a slim chance, but I think there was a reality where I could have won it. And I see it now. I did not see it then. So we did lose that one, but honestly, I think for my first Nuzlocke, given that I lost my starter by throwing my Chimchar in front of an Onix at the start of the Nuzlocke, like, I think I improved quite a lot by the end of it.
And especially that game, because for those who aren't familiar, Brilliant Diamond is not a very comprehensive remake in the sense, or sorry, I suppose not a very iterative remake, in the sense that they didn't change a lot about the game, that they kept a lot of it the same, except for the Elite Four, that there is a very distinct and very abrupt difficulty spike. Particularly so maxed out on IVs. Cynthia, the champion, that they are maxed out IVs and they are using competitive movesets that they did not have in the original. And that Cynthia in particular is renowned for being
sword dances and Earthquake.
Just
evil.
Already renowned for being one of the toughest champions of all time at time of release. And then they went like, all right, we're going to do one little thing for the competitive scene. And it feels logical, but also kind of weird to just do it there. That if we're going to have a official Pokemon game where from start to finish, they give things high IVs, give the gym leaders competitive movesets, and that's consistent, I think that could make for a really cool game.
I agree.
But for whatever reason in this one, they didn't do it for 90% of the game, just at the end there.
Yeah, I don't know what the strategy was there. I just know that it was a terrible first Nuzlocke choice. Oh, Iggy has the Luxray clip.
Oh,
so fucking wild.
I think I have automod set such that it will automatically bonk links. But if you send it to Angel, she can send it to me, and I will post it in chat.
Yeah, just DM it to me, Iggy. So that one was a loss. And then after that, we moved into Black and White, which was a terrible second choice.
Which is also difficult.
And I'd never played Black and White before. So this one, we went into it with a specific thought. I was like, we're going to Nuzlocke this until I die. And when I fail, we just beat the game. And we get to Clay. Clay swaggers me, and I kill myself, essentially.
Oh.
Lose the Nuzlocke. And then I'm angrily immediately retry, no leveling change, no item changes, nothing. And I magically beat him once the Nuzlocke is over, first try. And I'm like, what? What? You couldn't have just done that last time? Like, I was so mad. Hold on, let me grab the clip.
I've never Wait, I have done one Nuzlocke. It was with a friend, actually. 1 second. Here is that link right there. Actually, was that also I think it was a Fire Red Nuzlocke, actually, but it was a randomizer. We were carried first and foremost by a Jumpluff, because Jumpluff gets Spore. One of the only 100% sleep moves in the game. And just set up from there. But the highlight of that run, most randomizers work off of a base stat calculation. That you can have true randomizers where, you know, I can walk into Route 1 and suddenly stumble across Lugia and just die.
Yeah.
But most folks, well, I don't know if I can say most folks, but some folks will go with a base stat calculator, which will say, all right, the Pokemon that would normally occupy the slot has number, that is the total of its base stats, and that the replacement Pokemon will be something within 10% of that total of the base stats, and it will choose from that selected pool of potential Pokemon that way you're able to have a more natural feeling level progression and difficulty progression, not get jump scared by a legendary in the middle of the first couple routes and just die.
Yeah.
And that it then also creates a bit more strategy, because you can then sort of game and be like, all right, I know it's supposed to be this type of thing over here, but even if not, I know that the other potential spawns based on total base stats is going to be one thing from this curated list. And there's not a lot of control, certainly not as much as you would have in your normal runs, but that you can still at least sort of anticipate.
Exactly.
And we get to a Snorlax.
Oh, no.
Because overworld Pokemon are also randomized.
Mm-hmm.
And boy howdy, we forgot just how high Snorlax's base stat total is. It's very high, because it at this point in time, they didn't have the special physical split for moves, but they had the special physical split for defense. And both of its defenses are very high.
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon slides on screen, and we find ourselves staring down a Tyranitar.
Oh, no!
And we check our bag, and we're like, oh, no. We have, like, 6 Great Balls and, like, 10 Pokeballs. And, like, 1 or 2 Ultra Balls. That's it. Also, Mondays Child, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome on in.
Hi.
But, we're real scared right now. We're at, like, Gym 6, 7. We're past the halfway point of the game, and we're like, okay, if we can catch this thing, this can be one of our end game pieces.
But if you don't, you're looking at a wipe.
Or if we just run out of Pokeballs, even if we don't get a total wipe, we could end up losing a couple of Pokemon in the process.
Absolutely.
And we realize a path to go through. We have to pivot a little bit. We lose 2 Pokemon.
Oh.
But we do catch it.
And okay.
The 2 we gave up were a Fearow and I can't remember what it was, but it was another Pokemon that was not the best in our party. It was something that, we certainly wouldn't want to lose given the choice, but we looked at it as an exchange of, all right, we gave up 2 middling Pokemon for now what is going to be effectively the crown jewel of our team. We'll take that trade. We walked away very happy, and just, we clipped that catching, because we caught it with a Great Ball, and I was pulling up like the catching calcs of like, okay, we've got it asleep. We've got it at under 25%. We should have a 35% catch rate or something on this.
That's still kind of low.
It's like, that's kind of low, but it's still viable. And the big fear is, all right, if we don't catch it and it wakes up, that then we might lose
dead.
More.
Yeah.
So we're bracing, and just every one of these is really scary, because first ball pops out, it's still asleep. Oh, thank God. Second ball pops out, still asleep. Oh, thank God. Third one catches him. Oh my gosh.
Lucky.
We're talking about slots and gambling and stress. That was stress.
Yeah. Nuzlocke have so much luck to them.
But there's a lot of strategy, and you get these types of, crazy stories. Have there been any of your Nuzlocke, whether it be the most recent one or others, where just something really crazy happened? I know we already mentioned the Luxray that could.
The Luxray that could. Well, the Luxray that could is actually what sold me on Nuzlocke. And that was like probably the most hype moment that's ever occurred on my channel in all 5 years. And I was like, damn, we need to do this more. And so we just kept going. Now we do a Nuzlocke every season. I didn't get my first win till the 3rd one. We did Scarlet and Violet, and Scarlet and Violet's a lot easier. We had a good team, and the winning Pokemon on my team was a Jumpluff. Funny story. But I threw Jumpluff in front of an ice Pokemon, and I said, "You're gonna win!" And we did. And chat was like, "You idiot!" Because Jumpluff was times 4 week.
4 times a week, yeah, that's
But
dangerous.
I believed in the Jumpluff, and Eastern the Jumpluff took it home. Meanwhile, Eastern, my moderator, was going, "Why are you trying to kill me?" in the chat the whole time, so that was great. So we won that, and then we moved on to our next one, which was Soul Silver. And we won Soul Silver as well. But no one could have prepared me for Lance's 3 Dragonites. 3!
Oh, had you not played original? Because you did mention that Sapphire was your first, so you didn't play original Gen 2.
Now, I'm not playing with potion restrictions, so I went into this underleveled, horribly underleveled.
Oh, dear.
And I had, like, 70 hyper potions. And I was just like, Big Pharma gonna bring it. My poor Ampharos probably ate 50 of those hyper potions. But hey, we fucking won Soul Silver, so eat it!
Now, did you realize at the time that Lance in Gen 2 is a dirty, rotten cheater?
Yeah. There was illegal Dragonites.
Yeah.
Illegal.
Those suckers don't evolve till 62, I think.
Which is what's funny, because I somehow accidentally on my current Nuzlocke must have ticked an easier evolution setting without meaning it. And now I have the illegal Dragonite, so I think lore-wise, I just stole his Dragonite and we called it a day.
Look at me, I am Dragon Master now.
It evolved at 45, and I didn't realize at first that was strange till someone in chat brought it up, because I don't play with Dragon types. And I was like, huh, you know, now that you bring it up, that is really weird. Why? I don't know why.
So
I think I know what happened.
Are you playing with any mods?
Well, I still use a randomizer, technically speaking, when I do these things, exclusively because of trait evolutions. I go through just to set the thing to allow trait evolutions. However, in the menu for the randomizer, there's a setting for easier evolutions that I never use, but I never use dragon types, right? And in Leaf Green, there's only like 2 Pokemon that would qualify for the easier evolutions, Dragonite being one of the 2. I don't even remember what the other one is. So I probably didn't bother to check to see if it was ticked, because I know what were the odds of me using those 2 Pokemon.
Yeah.
I didn't plan on it, so I probably just didn't look, and it was probably ticked preemptively.
Yeah.
And so I went through the whole thing without realizing till endgame, and now I have a 45 Dragonite.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! So, you know, I unintentionally cheated. But, you know, I still could lose it here, so it doesn't really matter. Dragonite's not in my strat plan, really. So Dragonite's kind of like
it's
plan
just a
B.
beat stick. It's just it's strong. It has good stats. It will deal damage.
Yeah. So that was a pure hiccup. But so this is the Nuzlocke that we're doing after. My current score is 2 for 2. 2 losses, 2 wins.
Ooh, okay,
so I really got to bring it home right now. This is my tiebreaker. I got to bring it.
Do you know what your next one will be?
Yes, actually, because me and Tane are starting a Soul Link of Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
Boy.
Monday.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, assuming we're still on for the same day. It was supposed to be last Monday, but I've been sick, and then we had to set up Cobblemon and whatnot, so
yeah.
I have to double check with her that we're still doing the launch on Monday, but Monday is supposed to be the launch for that, which is a problem because I still haven't beat the other Nuzlocke, and I have to beat it before we start that. So Sunday.
Be a lot of Pokemon this weekend between Cobblemon and that.
Oh, it's Pokemarch, baby.
Ooh, that's good.
Because I also wanted to start my mystery dungeon run, so that's a whole nother. I played the first 2 as a child, and I loved them. I loved them. So I want to do the remake that they did of Blue and Red. On stream and actually beat it, because every time I've played it, I only get around like halfway, and then I just start farming Pokemon for like 25 million years, and then eventually put the game down. Not because it's bad, but just because I put way too many hours into just trying to get every Pokemon.
Oh, Angel. So
I've heard it's a tearjerker.
You don't know.
I don't know the ending.
Sorry, you don't know.
I don't know the ending. I know it's a tearjerker.
I'm so excited
but that's all I know.
You're going to have so much fun. It's so good.
And I want to do it where it's like we name all the Mon after chat. We might do like I can only get 3 per area limitation or something fun to kind of like force me to keep going.
Yeah, I would not recommend doing a Nuzlocke on that though.
No, not a Nuzlocke. I just want to give myself some sort of like limitations. That way I don't spend 25 streams in the same dungeon.
Yeah.
Because I will. That's how I am with this game.
Isn't necessarily even for difficulty's sake. It is just to make sure that you don't get sidetracked.
Because I will. I absolutely will. I also just get really absorbed in like grinding the level of my rescue team.
Yeah.
It's just fun. And then, like, if I go in there and I go, oh, wow, I have 4 for this area, and I could just get a Wurmple while I'm there goes the whole day.
I wouldn't
the whole day's gone.
3 because there's so many Pokemon per dungeon.
Yeah, 3 was just a throw-out number.
But I'd say, like,
5, maybe 6.
5, 10 at most. And what I would do is...
Or separate it by floors, because, like, some of the dungeons get, like, really crazy later.
That's right, yeah. And maybe say, like, okay, here's the list of Pokemon that I actively want to find.
Or, like, I also can set a thing on the stream where I go, I'm only doing these dungeons and up today. And I do not let myself touch older dungeons unless story allows me to. Like, stuff to force me to railroad, because every time I pick up Mystery Dungeon, I'm like a kid in a candy shop, and I can't stop.
It's so easy to just say, one more run, one more floor.
Just one more. Oh, and then fucking sun's up. I've been playing Mystery Dungeon for 3 weeks straight, and I've accomplished nothing. Chat's begging me to do something, and I'm just like, but they want me to find their friend.
Yeah, and I need to get this item and deliver this thing. Oh, I would hyper-optimize on those quests of just, all right, I'm taking everything that gets me, this particular dungeon. I've got like 7 stacked quests there, and I know, okay, I need this on floor 4, this on floor 13, and along the way I need to do that and then exit and get like 7, 8 rewards.
There's side missions, dude. Yeah,
this missions.
Mystery Dungeon, at least the older ones. I struggled with some of the later ones. I haven't tried that many. But I remember the first 2 I really loved. I think I skipped the 3rd one, and then I tried the 4th one, and I didn't like the 4th one. I just remember, like, it just didn't feel like a Mystery Dungeon game.
I don't know if I played the 4th. I think I played the first 3 because it was Red, Blue, because Red was on Game Boy Advance, Blue was on the DS, and I know I played that. The next one,
and then it was Eternity and Darkness.
Yeah.
And those ones were great.
And then there was Time. Explorers of Time, I
think. Wait. No, it was Time and Darkness.
That's right, yeah.
Time and Darkness was great as well. I still preferred the first one, but that one was fantastic. And then the 3rd one is where I dropped off. I need to take a look and see how the 3rd one is. And what the most recent one is, I think, is the 2 I want to check out.
I don't think they've had a new Mystery Dungeon game, not counting the remakes, in a while.
Well, they changed the recipe, and I think the people that were loyal fans of Mystery Dungeon probably weren't as fond of the new recipe. And this was the same time frame where the Ranger was doing great, and they dropped that too. Snap didn't get a second game until the Switch. Like, the auxiliary Pokemon games have always kind of just been like a...
The most that they've ever had is like, I think actually that Mystery Dungeon is probably the side series with the most iterations to it.
Absolutely.
Because the Pokemon Company, outside of the core games, for better and worse in my opinion, very much hop around. And that means that we get all these different things. That you get oddball stuff like Pokemon Conquest, which I haven't even played, but I think it's cool it exists. You get Pokemon Puzzle League back in the day. You get Mystery Dungeon.
Oh my god, Puzzle League. I was so Puzzle League loyal. I played that game into the ground.
Weird Autumns, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome on in, Raiders.
Welcome.
I'm Jay. This is Vtuber Talk. I am talking with Angel Steps, and we are talking about Pokemon. So get used to it, strap in. We could spend the entire... Like Pokemon Pinball. And they had that for Ruby Sapphire, and then they stopped. And
the Ruby Sapphire one is so good, too. Pokemon Channel.
Yeah.
The Hey You Pikachu Pokemon Channel. It's another one. Like,
and it's sort of good that they hop around because it means that they get to make these other new weird oddball things, and they might not be doing that if they had 1 or 2 core side series that they were really married to and only did those. But it also means that sometimes we get stuff we really like and then it stops and it's sad.
They kind of stopped doing offshoots in the newer stuff, like outside of remakes of some of their offshoots. We got the remake of Mystery Dungeon. We got the new version of Snap.
Well, yes and no. They still do offshoots.
I guess you could kind of count Legends.
Mobile games.
Oh yeah, mobiles. No, I didn't even think about that.
They have Cafe. They have Pokemon Master ZX, which was either the stupidest or most brilliant marketing move ever. I'm not sure. TCG Pocket is doing gangbusters right now.
Oh, dude, I love Pocket.
And it took them so long to do this because I played the original TCG for Game Boy, and that was so fun. We never got the second one in the West.
Nope.
They then had online, which was pretty good, but they then have that, and that's where I think a lot of the effort that formerly went to the side series went to. But then you are correct. We do have Legends, and oh boy, I am so excited for ZA. Because I loved Arceus. Arceus may have been just outright my favorite non-core Pokemon game ever.
It was a really nice change of pace. I still haven't seen the ending, by the way, for Arceus.
Chat,
at the
not
time
a word.
that I picked it up, it was just a bad time. That was when I was moving out of California. And then we restarted it on this channel recently, in between Nuzlocke, which was a bad move because the Nuzlocke were taking my attention. But I've been really enjoying it.
The
I am not
to
as
that one is
fond.
an all-timer.
I'm not as fond of like the gameplay style for like the catching method, but the story and the world and all of that is just so great that it doesn't matter to me. It feels too much like a mainline game for me to treat it like an offshoot game. I think that's the thing, is it's so well done. My brain goes, oh, well, it should have all the same features as a regular game, but it's not. It's not a regular game, and that's part of its charm.
Because for me, it was just different enough, but I will agree, it's certainly closer than pretty much any other offshoot game to a mainline game, no doubt there.
Yeah,
but
it's way closer.
Like,
it's way closer in concept and style.
I loved the catching mechanics there, and that I lost a lot of hours of just, similar to Mystery
It's very
Dungeon,
relaxing,
one
too.
more go, and the way they have you complete the Pokedex in order to face Arceus is that you have to actually get a certain number of research points, and that they give you options of how you want to go about it. So it can be, catch a certain number, or use a certain number of moves against or with that Pokemon. And so you can figure out the path of least resistance there, but that it's engaging, and that just the end game there is really good. So
yeah,
I highly, highly encourage you, whenever you have time outside of Cobblemon and outside of the almost two Nuzlocke and outside of everything else you have going on in your life.
I'm also I'm a chronic start a game, don't beat a game kind of person. And it's never because I don't want to beat it. It's always games I really enjoy that I do this with. I just get so distracted so easily.
Yeah. And in the back of your head, you say, oh, I'm absolutely going to come back to this someday. Eventually.
Yeah, I put it down for like, it's like Silent Hill coming out, right? Oh, Silent Hill, I go through, beat it, come back. Do I really come back? Or do I then go, oh, I should restart? And then I restart is what happens. I convince myself every time I should restart instead of just adapting to wherever I left off. And that is the problem. That is literally my issue.
Congratulations.
Point in case. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Congratulations, Angel. You've been hired by the Pokemon Company International as their newest game producer. You have been given an unlimited budget and talented team to develop a Pokemon game of your choosing that is not a mainline game. It can be a continuation or reboot of an existing offshoot. It can be an entirely new concept for a side game. What do you make?
Nintendogs, but Pokemon. I want a Pokemon game.
Isn't that
where
Pokemon
it's not,
Ranch?
Yeah, but like a new one.
True,
I want something that I can just, especially like, what if we added the element of VR, right? I want a game where I can just like play with my Pokemon. I want a Pokemon channel that expands on a much farther aspect, where literally my whole point is just making friends with them and learning about them and existing with them. The kind of thing I can come home to after like a day of work and just like study next to my Mudkip, right? Like, come on, man. Give me something that's for like the person that can't play games all the time, but grew an attachment to what the show always talked about. The concept of like friendship and love and companionship. They're supposed to feel like pets. Give me a game where that's what they are.
Yeah, something between being a Pokemon breeder and maybe even a Pokemon professor.
Yeah. Where I'm not a trainer. I'm just a normal human being. I'm role-playing as myself. But it's the Pokemon world.
I ask that question to basically any guest who is really deeply into Pokemon, which is a not inconsequential number of people.
Yeah,
that
Pokemon's
is
very
the
big.
fastest anyone has ever answered. You had that concept. You've thought about
Oh,
this.
I've been thinking about this since I was a kid. Consistently. Well, when I was a kid, actually, I've brought up Pokemon Channel. I played Pokemon Channel in a way that people might consider kind of insane. Like, I would come home from school, and I would turn it on, and I'd tell Pikachu about my day at school, and I would just have it on, and I would be in my room reading, or on my laptop, or doing homework, and Pikachu would be doing Pikachu things. And like, if Pikachu turned on the workout channel, I'd stop what I'm doing and work out next to Pikachu. Like, I treated it like it was genuinely next to me. And I realized through that behavior that like, and like, this is something that people do with other stuff. Rama was literally talking about how she'll have Love and Deep Space up while studying. And it's just about feeling like the character or the person is there.
But also, you were basically watching streams before streams were a thing.
Yeah.
Pikachu was your
it's streamer mentality. Exactly. So why don't we have more games that kind of feel that? Now, Pokemon Channel wouldn't work in the modern era because the gameplay itself, there's not much gameplay.
The gameplay, there's not much.
As much as I love it, like, it is waiting simulator, the game. Not even walking, it's waiting simulator. So it would have to have some sort of larger facet of like learning about the Pokemon. Pokemon Snap kind of has a similar concept where it's like photography, right? There's got to be some sort of feature that you could create, whether it be research or just like normal human tasks and Pokemon happen to be around.
Yeah.
That would give people a reason to play, but also heavily explore the idea of just like the animations the Pokemon would have when they're just around. How can you interact with them? Can you pet them? Can you call them? Can you play with them?
Because they sort of explore that space on a very surface level in Scarlet Violet with the camps and everything, where you can have Pokemon.
I think X and Y actually explored it more. I think X and Y actually explored it way more.
That was the one where you could, no, that was Sun and Moon, where you could clean them up between battles.
X and Y had the minigame features, and you could feed them, and I think you actually could like. There was way more features in like the hangout version with them. Like they gave us what's the closest to that I can think of. But I want more. I want more. I want a game where that is the whole game.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. I don't think that I've actually had anybody answer with quite that style of game before that, and I've heard a good number. My personal one is a bit cheating that I want a proper Pokemon RPG where I can choose the path. It's still a trainer type game, but the bottom line is I want the option to be a villain. I want early. The concept here is that you start off as a entry fresh Team Rocket grunt, and that you have your operation, your missions, and then you're catching that, Giovanni sends you out of the city while things cool down between missions, and that's where you have your catching versus what would be sort of stealth gameplay, but also some battling or use of moves in environmental circumstances. But that somewhere mission 3, 4, 5, you cross paths with a Jenny, and they offer you the chance to become an informant. And that the option is, do you want to align with the Jennies? Do you want to become a mole in Team Rocket? Do you want to double cross and, all right, I'm joining Jennies, but I'm reporting this back to Giovanni, and we're going to feed the Jennies false information. I know this is entirely far too complex narratively, and they will never, ever make a game like this, but that's my pipe dream. That I think that'd be fun. I love the idea of just a complex, choice-driven narrative, and I do not realistically expect that. If I had to choose, like, more realistic, I'm good for now with more Legends games. I'm very excited to see what they do with ZA, because it's clear it's not a copy-paste of Arceus. And
no, it's definitely something different. They are experimenting with it. They know that they have some realm to move. Despite all the shit people gave Scarlet and Violet, I actually feel like Scarlet and Violet is a good sign for Game Freak. Now they jumped the gun. Okay, they jumped the gun. They released an unfinished game, and it looks kind of fugly. I have my complaints, but one thing that really stood out to me is the story. And we have not had a mainline game have that kind of expansive story. Even like X and Y got pretty expansive. X and Y got kind of emotional.
X and Y had the emotionally deepest story, but it still was not an expansive story.
This one had both. This one played as if I was watching a Pokemon movie. And that tells me that they're paying a lot more attention to writing, and they are trying to find the blend that will give the games the feeling of what the movies and like the shows give. They're trying to figure out how to merge those. And I feel like it's just a matter of time before they hit the recipe. They jump the gun a lot.
Yeah.
They jump the gun a lot, and it doesn't make much sense with the funding they have, and I really want to see them get their shit together a little bit better. But I think it's just a matter of time before they give us something that people are going to be jaw-dropped about.
Yeah, and that I understand, at the end of the day, Pokemon is a game for kids.
Yes.
It is not going to be something that has the deep, complex, expansive narratives like I was talking about in my pipe dream of a Team Rocket game.
It's always going to have to hit for children and adults. It can't just be an adult-marketed game.
That they can and should, and I expect will, always err on the side of caution with being just a bit too simplistic, just to be safe. That if you have to make the error one way or the other, you have to make the error in the younger spectrum, because you need to make sure that they get it, and that even if we, as the old timers, don't quite get the narrative fill, there's a lot of other games.
We're going to be more forgiving. We're going to be more forgiving because nostalgia is a very strong draw.
Oh yeah.
We're likely to try again. If a child picks up a Pokemon game and doesn't like it because it's made not in a way that children can enjoy,
that's it.
They will never touch a Pokemon game or Pokemon media again.
Yep.
They'll just go on to something different. They're now a Sonic kid. Congratulations.
Yep. And that's one of the big things that I credit Pokemon with, and that I am, as a Pokemon fan, so genuinely happy about that. I was in the right place at the right time for Pokemon. I was 5-6 years old when Red, Blue, Yellow came out. My first game was Yellow. I was there for Pokemania, for the first season of the anime, the first movie, all the merch. When some parents were saying, "Oh, it's the devil," and that people were saying, "Oh, this is going to be a fad. This will be gone." And now it is the highest grossing multimedia franchise in history, and it's not close. If you look at first and second place, it's like $300 million or something. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It is a huge gap. And what I am so happy about all these years later is that there are still kids growing up with Pokemon. It makes me insanely happy to know that even if what kids today are growing up was not quite what I grew up with, they're still growing up with Pokemon, and that
the show very much has the same feel. Like, despite all the changes throughout the years, the core values of Pokemon have never changed.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what it is like Pokemon kind of formed my personality growing up. And that's part of the reason I'm so loyal to it. Like, there's a lot of things I really like. I was into Digimon. I was into Yu-Gi-Oh! I was into Sonic. I never got into Mario, unfortunately.
So much more to get into. I mean, the games are good, but there's no real characters there.
It wasn't visually interesting enough to me as a child, so I just didn't touch it. I was into like Evangelion at an age that probably I shouldn't have been. Like, I enjoyed a lot of media, but Pokemon definitely played a very big role in who I am and who I became. And that's because of how the shows actually brought up a lot of conversations and a lot of like talking points. And I really grew up to be that like, give it your best shot, shonen behavior, love animals, love your friends.
I argue
like
that
all the super classic stuff. And the fact that the media has kept that format, and now we're seeing the games starting to try to bring that in. That makes me really happy.
Yeah. I would very much argue that the Pokemon anime has and still does shonen tropes better than basically any other shonen
Yep.
anime. I think it does it
Yep.
better than Bleach, did better than Naruto. Haven't watched a lot of One
You
Piece. I
can't-
know One Piece goes places, so I'm going to give One Piece some credit here.
You
But
cannot tell me
there's just-
Pikachu beating Onyx was not a shonen moment.
oh my gosh.
That doesn't make sense.
Oh my gosh. It was, well, it makes sense because it wasn't Pikachu that beat it. It was the sprinklers. But
Yes.
that was, you're not going to ever get that in the game.
Yeah.
But-
I still need to see some of the new stuff now that Ash is retired.
That was so...
But it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. But it was a necessary change.
I was shocked, but also very understanding that, after 5-10 years, you sort of look at it and say, okay, we're really committed to Ash here, and that, admittedly, it had become a meme. People were really just sort of pounding on the anime of just like, okay, he's Ash Ketchum, 10-year-old from Palatown, and that if you look canonically just at the number of episodes and the number of days that pass in the episodes, that he has to be 20 by now, that years have passed because of the number of days that happen in the show.
It's incredible they managed to keep a main character for that long, though.
It's absurd.
And, like, the show is still decent. Like,
Yeah.
I picked random episodes the other day just to kind of, like, look at for spots that were farther along than when I stopped, right? Because being an oldie, it was hard for me when the voice actors changed as a
Yeah.
kid. That was a really hard moment.
That was jarring to me the first time I heard the new ones.
And so I fell off, and it wasn't like an issue of not liking the new actors. It was just hard because I was too young to really wrap my head around it at the time.
Yeah, it sounded off. It wasn't that, I'm unhappy about this change. It's just sort of a mental tension. It was almost distracting in a way.
And there were details about it that were hard. Like the original voice actors have all openly talked about how none of them wanted to leave, and they were basically just cold dropped and replaced, and then expected to have new people imitate their style. And that's hard. Like as an actor, like once because I moved into theater and acting as I grew up, and so the more I learned, the more I was like, man, that just really sucks for them. It sucks for the voice actors I grew up with. It is no shame to the new actors that had to fill the role. If anything, I feel bad for them because that they definitely got some hate because of it, and that's not their fault.
I think it happened at a time where social media was nigh non-existent, so they probably dodged a bullet. I don't think it could have been done nowadays, because you are absolutely right. If it had been done in today's day and age,
it would have been hell.
Pretty. It would not be pretty.
I've gotten like signatures by Veronica Taylor, and I've gone to conventions to see a lot of the old actors, which R.I.P. Misty's voice actress passed away last year, I believe.
Yeah.
So I get really sad whenever I hear her voice, man.
Yeah.
But and when Veronica Taylor talks about it, like, it's very clear that she's still hurt this many years later. Like, it still upsets her.
Because,
and I can't blame her.
She was one of the biggest characters in the world. That this cast got to be part of the rise of Pokemon and got to have a very direct hand in its establishment and creating the foundation for its longevity and everything we know now. And the fact that it wasn't just, a year or two, but they had been around, I think it was like 8 years that they had those before Pokemon Company shifted away from, I think Kids WB was the studio that did it, and then they took it internal. Because if memory serves, that was the shift.
4Kids.
Yeah. Because that's right, because it was 4Kids that broadcast on Kids WB. Yes.
Yep.
Correct. Yeah.
And so when all that changed,
and then it's like, that had to have felt like a betrayal of just, wait, I've done all this hard work, I've helped create this incredible thing, and now it's being ripped away from me. And
so that was hard, and so I dropped off the show around that point, just because it was hard for me to wrap my head around when I was younger. And at the same time, like, when you grow up, you try not to. A lot of people try to pick up new hobbies and new interests, and so I did steer away from Pokemon at a certain point. Not like I stopped liking Pokemon, I just stopped absorbing the media in high volumes.
Yeah.
Anime was the first drop off, and then this was the point in time where I skipped over the 5th and 6th generations, and then had to like retro back, only to, as an adult, now play Pokemon for a living. So there was not much point in dropping off of that one. It all comes full circle.
Yep.
But now I really want to go through and like, I say I won't watch One Piece because there's too many episodes, but I actually do truly want to sit down and watch all of Pokemon, like from start to finish. Just because of what Pokemon has meant to me growing up and what it means to me as an adult. Yeah. And as a creator that I think I can say at this point, I think I'm a Pokemon creator and I should probably be a little bit more familiar. Iggy, you missed part of the conversation. We were talking about Veronica Taylor, but then I mentioned Misty's voice actress. So Jet was responding to my comment about Misty's voice actress, who passed away. I think it was cancer.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Veronica Taylor is still with us, and like you mentioned, still goes to conventions a lot, and that
frequently.
At the very least, I look at a lot of the original voice actors from Pokemon, and that even though they had that taken away from them, they had 8 years of it, and by the time they lost it, they had such... They now had on their resume, I'm the original voice of Ash, I'm the original voice of Brock, and that it was enough for it to be substantial in acting, and that they were able to continue careers for those that so chose to do so. It's really interesting to see the way that some of them have gone, that Veronica has had just pretty consistent work across the years and certainly has been able to parlay being the original Ash into a lot of convention appearances.
Yes.
I think it was Eric Vale who also did, a huge number of other 4Kids shows. That 4Kids recycled their actors a lot. And to be fair, they had a lot of good actors. That those are some voices of childhoods right there, and that he was Kaiba and a bunch of other things, and still has work to this day.
He was Gallery in Slayers too, right?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they've been able to all do different and cool things, and it's cool to think about just
how that's all interconnected.
Yeah, and it's really nice. So,
I think it's cool seeing how a lot of the old Pokemon actors, like from the first set, how like I guess there's like a, how when people are in school and they like really rep their team, right? There's like a loyalty to it. Every Pokemon actor I've met has been so clearly like Pokemon fond. Like it's not like this was a role I did, but I prefer these other roles. Like it's very much like it's on the sleeve of I did this, and it just makes me happy.
Yeah.
I met the voice actor for Professor Oak, the original one.
Ooh, yeah.
And like he didn't have a line. And it was the sweetest thing. So he was actually cosplaying as Professor Oak at his booth. And he was just this
so
old man.
Cute. Because
he was just this cute old man.
Be like, how old is he now?
He looked like he was in his late 70s. Like, I really hope he's in his late 70s because he's going to feel real bad if he ever hears me say that. But he was just this cute old man cosplaying Professor Oak. And it was actually Professor Oak. And he had taken photos of him cosplaying Professor Oak and turned it into a Pokemon card that you could buy and he would sign. And no one was in his line, so I walked up and we went to talk to him. And he was just so friendly. And I remember we were asking him about we asked him to do the line from to do the wonderful from Pokemon Snap, because it was just so like sexy, if you played the game, like you just hear it on loop 24/7. So I was like, please. And so of course he did it. And then he was talking about how like when he recorded Pokemon Snap, that they actually didn't allot proper recording time for it. And so he recorded all of the lines for Pokemon Snap on his lunches in between recording for the show. So he would run from one studio to the other and skip lunch and record on his lunch and then run back to the other. And that's how all of Snap was recorded. And he was just so nice to talk to. And oh my God, you're so great. Precious old man.
The correct one, it's Stuart Zagnut, who is 72.
Yeah, that sounds right. I should have said early 70s. Fuck.
Now I'm looking at the other thing. He's been in Law and Order. He was in 30 Rock. He's done live theater. He was Mr. Mushnick in an off-Broadway production of Little Shop of Horrors. Oh my God.
I love that.
I want to see, wait a minute. I want to see Professor Oak as Mr. Mushnick.
That'd be so fucking cool, right? Oh my God.
But actually, he he played the wizard in a tour of Wicked. Ooh.
Oh, all right.
Now, speaking of musicals, are you aware of and or have you seen Pokemon Live?
I have not. I'm aware of it. I have not seen it.
Okay. For those who aren't familiar, Pokemon Live is a live-action stage musical that was produced for the West. That in Japan, there have been a variety of stage adaptations of anime over the years, and nowadays they have like 2.5D ones with crazy effects. In late 2000, early 2001, it was produced specifically by 4Kids WB, and it was effectively a jukebox musical because they used most of the songs from the To Be a Master soundtrack, and then they had a couple of new ones. But it was it was a show, and it is exactly as campy and questionably written as you would expect for a anime musical stage adaptation for a kids show.
Campy is definitely a description for Pokemon. I can only imagine how the live show was.
I was fortunate enough that my mother brought me and my best friend at the time. We were, I think, 8 years old. And my mom, going back and having rewatched it since, she was so patient to sit through that. My friend and I had the time of our frickin' lives. It was amazing as a kid, but oh boy, that was not good writing. It wasn't like there was nothing offensive or bad, but it was if you're not a Pokemon fan, sometimes there's kids entertainment that is written so it can also be enjoyed by the parents. This was not.
This was not bad.
No. But I highly encourage you to look it up. There are full recordings on YouTube. The camera quality is a little bit fuzzy because, recorded in 2000, but the audio is actually quite clear. And that I think it's worth a watch. It's something to watch with friends for sure, because again, it's not great, but especially if you're a Pokemon fan, it's a trip. It's fun. It's silly. It's cringy. They do some interesting things canonically that they never, ever bring up again.
Okay.
There's some lore in there, which I think the Pokemon Company, just sort of shove that one aside. They pretend that one doesn't exist.
It's not real.
But it's a fun one. Definitely recommend looking that up sometime.
Yeah, for sure.
Gosh, I forgot. And the person who played James in that stage adaptation, but was also in the dub as he was Morty and Harley in the I think that was the Ruby Sapphire era.
Yeah.
This guy named Andrew Rannells, who went on to win a Tony Award.
Wow.
For Best Actor, because he is the originator of the role of Elder Price in Book of Mormon.
Wow, that's crazy.
And he has said that Pokemon Live was unquestionably the low point of his career.
Yeah.
He has been in interviews and there was this one time where I was backstage and I just started crying thinking, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life?
He had to hit rock bottom.
He had to hit rock bottom. Yes, he did. But, it's a fun one.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out. That sounds really fun.
Sorry, we have gone in so many different directions. I'm trying to be like, okay, where... So
we ended up talking about Pokemon this whole time. It's been Pokemon for 2 hours.
This could just be a Pokemon episode. Don't get me wrong. That we still haven't even, we bounced off of ZA because Pokemon Day was 2 weeks ago now.
Yes.
And they finally showed us that trailer, which looks like interesting stuff, but it still feels a little early to give a lot of informed commentary.
I also don't tend to deep dive a lot of early content because I love being surprised.
Yeah.
So I feel like trailers nowadays tend to show more than I'm comfortable with, so I try just not to watch trailers.
I avoid, unless I am genuinely unsure of if I want to see a movie, I will avoid trailers. Like, if I'm in a movie theater seeing something else, I'm not going to close my eyes and plug my ears and avoid things, but that I really don't seek out trailers online.
Yeah. Yeah, big same. The only trailer that I've watched recently, the only content that I have let myself watch trailers for is Silent Hill F, because I know they're not going to leak too much of the primary story, because it's a psychological horror. They can't. They will ruin the game if they do, so they won't. So I feel pretty safe with that one, especially given who the writer is, that they're going to go for shock value in the trailers, and they're not going to go for spoilers. But beyond that, I'm like, I ain't touching. No. No.
The only movie trailer I watched recently, I actually watched this past week, and it was for Lilo and Stitch.
I still haven't seen it, actually. I saw bits and pieces of it on Twitter, but I haven't actually watched it yet.
Growing up, I loved Lilo and Stitch. That was one of my favorite Disney movies.
It was fantastic.
And that it's weird to think how old it actually is now.
Right.
And at first, I was like, wait, why are you making Lilo and Stitch again? It's new. And then I realized, oh, wait, it's like 20 years
No,
old.
we're old. We're old. That's what.
And, they had the series, but that there hasn't been a theatrically released Stitch movie since the first one. And that if they don't make something right about now, the franchise as a whole has a chance to sort of fizzle out, because they certainly haven't done anything active. That they've kept Stitch propped up as sort of this quirky side character. There's a lot of kids these days that don't know who Stitch is. And so I sort of mentally acclimated to that of, okay, I can see why we're doing this. It's a bit begrudging perhaps, and a bit weird to think, oh gosh, it is that old that it's actually worthwhile. And they got the original voice of Stitch back, which is great. But it's the question of, all right, how different is it going to be? Because Disney has taken a very sliding scale on its live-action remakes. And I haven't seen all of them, but I know it has been a sliding scale.
Yeah, and I want to have hope. But Disney has dropped the ball on so many live actions for me that I'm like, man, please don't ruin it. Please.
Well, I've got some good news. I personally, at least, was hoping that for the Lilo and Stitch remake, that they would have a moderate to high number of changes. That I think you need to obviously keep the core identity of Stitch, but I don't want a shot-for-shot remake of the original here. And watching the trailer, almost all of the jokes and gags were new.
Okay.
And the big question is, did they just burn all of the new jokes and gags in this one trailer and the rest is beat for beat? Or are we going, new content for this? That everything in those gags, every line that was said, all right, that's absolutely something Lilo would say. That's absolutely something that Stitch would do, no question. That characterization felt very consistent, and even the sense of humor felt consistent. It was just different bits, and that's ideal for me. I would love to go in and be like, all right, you got to get some of the classics in there, but if we can have, even like 40% new gags, new bits, I'd call that a success. I want to see that.
Yeah, as long as they're able to keep the core identity.
Oh, Jet Black J here. Pleakley got done dirty. I could see that. Jumba and Pleakley are great. I will also call them expendable.
Oh, I feel
perhaps that's so a little harsh of me.
I feel like they're so important.
I'll rephrase. I think they are expendable in the sense that they narratively have an important function, but that I think if the writers wanted to take a different angle at things, their narrative function could be occupied by different or new characters. And I really
growing up, I loved them so much, so I'm worried.
Jumbo in particular, I love Jumbo. I found Pleakley a little annoying. I think Jumbo was hilarious.
Pleakley was annoying in all the right ways, though.
That's true. That's very true.
I really loved... Pleakley was just so themselves at all times. And, I loved the bits they would get into and the trouble they would get into and the attitude that they had. I adored
as
Pleakley.
A duo, they were a perfect audience. I would watch a series of just Jumba and Pleakley. Don't get me wrong.
Same.
Don't get me wrong.
Well, in the television show, they had a lot more screen time.
But fingers crossed for that one. And at the same time, I might also say maybe don't watch the trailer because there is new stuff there. Because I tuned into it being like, okay, I want to sort of see how they did, and I was very much expecting it to be stuff I knew, which is why I didn't have a problem watching it. And pleasant surprise, but also, dang it, I did this to myself.
I probably will wait till it hits Disney Plus. That way I can also gauge, like, I'm the kind of person that will listen to what everyone else says and still watch and get my own opinion anyway. But I am kind of curious because, like, I've come to realize when Twitter says, I hate this, I tend to like it. And when Twitter goes, I love this, I tend to hate it. So I'm going to wait and see if Twitter goes, I hate this, in which case I'll feel pretty hopeful.
Are there any movies or series, Disney or otherwise, that you've been watching lately or looking forward to that are coming out in the near future?
I wish. I actually haven't had a chance to look at too much media lately beyond games. I feel like there was something, but I can't suddenly remember all of a sudden. Holy crap. I've been so occupied by reading lately that the only things coming to mind are books, not...
Well, what have you been reading lately?
So I started this new murder mystery series. It's the Ruth Galloway murder mystery series by Ellie Griffiths. I relate a lot to the main character, outside of some behaviors. And I love murder mysteries. But while I've been sick, I've just been diving into books. And I went from... I've bought 7 books in the last 2 weeks because books have been my only escape. In this series, I didn't realize when I bought the first 2 volumes that it has 16 volumes. So,
oh wow,
I'm excited to get through all of those. That's a lot of books to get through.
So, what is the hook of this murder mystery series? That is there anything that makes the detective particularly memorable? Is there something about the way the storytelling is done?
So she's an archaeologist, not a detective.
Ooh, okay.
And I like that perspective. I felt like it was nice to have... So my issue with murder mysteries, I love them. But too many murder mysteries are just... hot detective and sexy female baddie. And then I'm like, man, I just want crazy shit to happen. I don't give a shit about this. And then they're like super hot and heavy and predictable. And I'm like, ugh. And so this one was really refreshing because this was a character that could not fit that cast. And even if things turned in that direction, it would invariably take some sort of unique perspective or thought process. And throughout the course of the first volume, you can tell that she thinks of things in the ways that someone who has been shunned by society thinks. Not the way the popular girl who gets whatever she wants thinks, or like the way that someone would idolize a popular girl, right? A lot of these books have characters that aren't very real. They're so perfect to a fault, and they're clearly meant to be someone that you read and go, wow, they're amazing. And I don't like that. I want a book that has people that are real to such a serious fault, and they get stuck in circumstances that are terrible, and their faults make things either worse or they stumble upon things because of it. And there are some that really line up with this, but in the amount of murder mysteries I've read, I think only 20% of them have characters that I'm like, there. So the second I realized this one had like, okay, we've got a character that is faulted. She's going to have strange biasms. She's not going to feel confident about herself in some of these things. And then the other characters involved all have their weird quirks and faults. I'm like, okay, cool, let's give it a shot. And it being archaeology, from the perspective, she just really loves bones. She just loves bones, man. She's not a detective.
I just think they're neat.
That literally is a line in the first book. It takes kind of like it's a little bit more like quirky and cute than a lot of the ones I typically read. And unfortunately, I have sniffed out every twist by like the 3rd chapter at this point. I'm on the 3rd one.
That is equal parts very exciting, but also disappointing.
Yeah.
Like the first or second time, it's like, okay, yeah, I got this. And then if you're starting to get
I'm really hoping this one throws a twist at me that I don't expect. Because to some degree, it's nice. Like in the 2nd book, I was like, they're like, oh, these kids disappeared from an orphanage. And there's this new character involved. And I'm like, Immediately I go, that's fucking him. That's him. He just changed his name. That's him. I'm calling it now. And that was the big twist at the end of the book. And I was like, I knew it. The second one specifically, I sniffed out absolutely everything by like the 4th chapter. But the writing is interestingly enough that like, even though I had kind of figured it out, it was still carrying me. It was still fun. And so I like the way that these are written. I'm really hoping the more I read, she's got 16 books. She has to have gotten better at creating twists by this point. Because these books, the ones I'm on right now, are kind of old. And they hit all of the classics. Like the first 2 both deal with dead children. She likes to mix in a lot of Celtic lore, and like supernatural aspects, but it doesn't actually end up supernatural. There's just a lot of characters involved that are either like druids that don't want to have these areas excavated and fight the government. And they're like, we have magic. And then the detective's like, you're fucking lying and on drugs. And then she's like, well, maybe.
I like mysteries where they present magic and then say, no, not actually. And that even if I, as a reader, viewer, know, okay, this world seems to not allow magic, so this is very likely to be fake. That I enjoy having that extra layer of mystery of not only is it the whodunit of, who's behind this, but also how are they presenting this magic? How are they pulling off that trick? Because that's just another mystery in there. And I definitely like
she's been very good at creating like a sense. There's this one character specifically that has become a recurring character that does the whole I'm magic shtick. And they consistently sniff out things really fast, right? They consistently figure things out before other people. But to be fair, I'm figuring out the same shit this magical druid is figuring out based on context clues. So they're probably just smart.
Yeah. Well, that's the entire
they never confirm
premise,
or deny it,
That is the entire premise of a very long-running mystery series, Psych, if you ever saw that one.
Yes. Oh God, I like that. I've always liked that.
I watched that one a lot growing up. I really enjoyed that.
It's a good one. I love stuff that's very centered in like a real world, but they consistently give us questions, and maybe we don't get answers to those questions, and we have to lead ourselves to them. I do like typically finding a dead body, but it's like it's been there for a while, and there's a lot of aspects they have to dive into an explorative factor that isn't like the guy is on the run. In all of these books, by the time the bones are coming into question, they're looking at old people, man. They're looking at people that might be dead. And that's an interesting change in pace because most murder mysteries are like high speed police chases.
Yeah.
These are not. And that's been really fun. I've been reading a lot of Anthony Horowitz lately. I only have 1 book left of his to read that I haven't already gotten my hands on. And his are fun because it's like Inception. He writes about the Anthony Horowitz writes about the character Anthony Horowitz, who is a writer who is doing biographies of a detective that keeps getting wrapped up in murders, or an ex-detective. He's a PI now. And he's like, he's like the Watson to his Sherlock Holmes, but he doesn't want to be there. So but he's writing about himself, and it's fiction.
This is a complex autobiography that, as part of his witness protection, he was assigned to be a writer so he could publish these in order to create plausible deniability of any of it being real. Of course this isn't real. Of course I'm just writing this because that is my quirk as a writer. That is sort of the hook of my series. It is certainly not all stuff that has happened. No, certainly not. No, nah.
His are definitely a little bit better at tricking me. But I've been reading so many of these that I'm getting really good at this, and that's bad. The most recent one I read, I sniffed out really early, and I was like, damn it.
I don't read many mystery books, but I do enjoy watching mystery media, so movies and shows. There is an anime this season called Ameku MD Doctor Detective, which is essentially, people are calling it Anime Doctor House, and it's not quite that.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about,
But it sort of is. It's an easy enough analogy because there's nothing closer to compare it to, but first episode or first 2 have a very complex solution, something that realistically you probably can't anticipate, and that, that's needing to... Okay. Then episodes 2, 3, or 4, I deduced in the cold open. And it was just, they went from hyper complex to, you can explain this in one line.
Yeah.
And then they had this 3-parter where it was, again, not super complex, but it was a bunch of these simple one-liners layered on top of each other, and then one extra one that you had no realistic way of knowing as sort of the final twist. And I just sort of bounced off it. I was like, first 2 episodes were good, and it was too many of...
fall off a little.
Yeah, it was too many of the, all right, I figured this out, that was too easy, and then they're swing.
If we're going to talk about anime, Psycho-Pass.
Ooh, I saw season 1 of Psycho-Pass. I know that
it's worth watching all of it. Like, obviously, season 1, I think, is honestly the strongest point. But all of Psycho-Pass is good. I don't think there was ever a point where I went, that's bad. Like,
yeah.
Psycho-Pass is great.
Psycho-Pass is a strong cup of tea.
It is a great example of something where you can't predict the twist.
No.
You can't. When that twist hits, like, holy shit. Oh my God. Like, to this day, even thinking about it, I'm like, man. I love that reaction. I fucking love media that can get me, like, into that state. I really like Fear and Hunger. And this ties back to the books. Funny story. Because Fear and Hunger 2 deals with stuff that I didn't realize was actually steeped in Celtic lore. And I'm picking up the second book in this series that I just told you about with the archaeologist. And they find these bones, right? And they're under a doorway. And the guy goes, yeah, well, we think it might be a foundation sacrifice. People would bury bodies under doorways as a sacrifice to the god Janus or the god Terminus. And when he said that, I went, wait, what? And I looked into it, and it's all fucking Celtic lore. And I'm like, Fear and Hunger 2 is based on Celtic lore. Are you fucking shitting me? So I love stuff that, like, ties death, ties mystery, and ties, like, real world legends together. I think that's like the triple threat for me. If you put those 3 together, I don't actually typically like sci-fi, which is where Psycho-Pass was really unique, but they capture the human psyche so strongly.
Yeah, that
it's chef's kiss.
I think the difference for you probably with Psycho-Pass is that it is future tech sci-fi, not space sci-fi or crazy fantastic, that they have a small number of very specific sci-fi elements, but then tie it into, like you're saying, a very human story.
I want to find myself shocked at the inner workings of the human mind. And the darker it goes, the better. And this was the hardest thing to explain, is I was talking about how I was trying my first Stephen King book the other day. And a chatter that's really common had brought up, like, trigger warnings. And I realized when that happened, like they were completely valid, by the way. There was nothing wrong with what they were saying. But the conversation made me realize that I consistently search out media that will probably trigger me. You know what I mean? Like, I consistently want to read dark content that is so shocking because it doesn't match with my reality. You know what I mean? Like, Fear and Hunger is a really good example. People compare it to Berserk a lot, and I still haven't gotten around to Berserk.
Nor about
but I've heard that it's incredibly dark. And I want to know. Like, I just want to know. When I first played Fear and Hunger 1 at Tane's request, we did our collab stream of it, and Fear and Hunger 1 is so fucked up, dude. It's so fucked up. And I immediately realized that there was a lot of really deep lore. I sat on my couch till 6 a.m. on every wiki page you could imagine, just memorizing all the lore about the game. Only to find out later there's a boss that quizzes you on the lore, and there was no hiding the fact that I had deep dived because I was with Tane and the questions would come up, and I just knew. I knew down to the years. I was so bad. Oh my God. And I don't know what it is about it. It's just so fun. It's like my brain will literally get, like, attached, and I have to know. It's the curiosity killed the cat. Like, I am the cat, and I need to know. Ugh.
Have you played the Professor Layton series?
No, but I've been told I would love them.
It is.
I've been told I would love them.
It's a mystery puzzle series about an archaeologist.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
You need to be able to enjoy puzzles.
Oh, I love puzzles. I love puzzles.
If you don't enjoy puzzles, you will not enjoy this game, even if you like mysteries. If you enjoy puzzles and love mysteries, you are going to have an amazing time.
That's why I like Silent Hill. It's dark and puzzles.
Layton isn't terribly dark, but they go places that you wouldn't expect for one of... I can't quite say that it's one of Nintendo's banner franchises, but they will go places emotionally that are not what you would expect
that works.
of that animation style. We're not talking as dark as like Made in Abyss, that it's not quite that level of bait and switch where it's like, oh, happy smiley, and oh, this is really, really fucked up.
I like content that isn't necessarily gory and bloody, as long as it has emotional value. Like, I don't want something that's empty. I think that's my biggest thing is, and like, going back to talking about Pokemon, part of the reasons I loved the Pokemon shows is, despite the facts that the game is kind of story empty, they found ways to make them full. Like, they felt emotionally full, even if it was simple and cute. Like, I want to walk away from media absorbed in the feeling that it is trying to create.
You will absolutely
get there. And if the characters aren't well made, if the story isn't well made, if I can't find them real or relatable, then I'm not going to have this level of emotional integrity. Psychological horror typically always builds characterization like that, because the show will fail or the game will fail if they don't. It is hinged on that.
Yeah,
so I feel like I end up in those
deconstruction somehow of what makes the characters good characters.
Exactly. So they have to build the character to create that.
Yeah.
The core is the characterization. A lot of other shows sometimes fumble that ball because they're too focused on other things. This is the main reason I don't like horror movies. Most of the time. 90% of the time, I don't care about horror movies. Because it's just shock value. There's no substance. There's no, like, heart. There's very few that find the time to actually build that. But if you give me, like, a horror series, like The Haunting of the House on the Hill or Haunting of Hill House, whatever the fuck it's called, that one was fantastic. They had, like, 12 episodes, each an hour long. And it wasn't until, like, episode 8 where shit really got real. Because they took so much time to build who and why and how, and you are going to hurt. And I want that. I want that in media.
And here we get to you and I are very, very similar, Angel, actually, in a lot of these regards.
That's great.
And the difference comes into play with something that we kind of talked about earlier. I also don't like horror most of the time for the reasons you stated, that I don't enjoy shock value. It just doesn't do anything for me. And
ugh.
When it comes to the psychological, more complex horror, I really appreciate the writing, but it goes to the stress thing of gambling again. The concept of just, I don't enjoy being stressed out in my media consumption. I can enjoy thrillers.
I understand that.
But horror for me, it's the type of thing that...
If it's stressing you, then don't consume it.
Yeah, that I don't, but what I will do, because so much of that type of horror is steeped in mystery, which I do like, that what happens a lot is, I mentioned I don't watch trailers a lot, but if I'm at a movie theater, whatever, I'm going to watch the trailers. I'm not going to close my eyes, plug my ears. And, horror movie trailers are whatever proportion of trailers. And there's so many times where I have gotten to the end of the trailer and been like, wow, that's a really good hook. I wonder what happens. I have no intention of ever watching that movie, but make a little mental note, wait for it to come out, and then I read the Wikipedia page. Because honestly, I want to know how'd they do it. But like, what's the twist? How did they do this? What was the solution? I am curious, and I will find out. No, I will not sit through that 2.5-hour movie.
For that. No, I feel that. I can kind of relate to some of this. So fun fact, despite the fact that I play a lot of horror games now, I used to be really scared of them. But I've always had this weird addiction to having to know what happens. Like, I think addiction is the right word. I don't get stressed playing horror content or reading horror books or reading mysteries. Unless one thing happens. There's one very specific thing that will make me upset, and it's cat death. And normally that's like a sacred area murder mystery writers don't touch. Unfortunately, I got wombo comboed with cats dying pretty recently, and I was like, oh no. And it takes a lot for me to want to put a book down. I was very close, but I was like, I got to learn to muscle through this one thing. If I'm going to be strong about everything else, I'm learning how to muscle through this one. But when I was younger, I couldn't handle playing horror games, right? And I was addicted to the story of Silent Hill, but I couldn't play them. It would actually freeze me, and then I would like be unable to sleep for weeks. So I would watch my friends play them on the couch. I'd call my friends over and be like, hey, can you play a game for me in my house?
And here's the interesting part. So, just growing up, I didn't really play horror games, not because I was avoiding them, but that when I was younger, my parents didn't have a problem with me playing games. They didn't, well, at least when I was younger, didn't want me playing games that had guns as a primary mechanic. Like, if I'm at a friend's house and, I'm going to play Halo, whatever. But that they were like, we don't want you having that in the house, playing it day in and day out and whatever. They were open enough to letting me playing enough other games that I was just like, whatever. I don't feel like I'm losing out on that much. What I lost out on, though, in that is that it means to this day, I am garbage at shooter games because I missed the boat. And now there's such a high learning curve.
Yeah, I'm in that boat too. I feel you.
So that meant by proxy, since most horror games usually were, shooting the zombies or whatever, that I just sort of incidentally avoided those. But I love watching horror game streams. And not just ones where the streamer has like the over-the-top reaction, but that for whatever reason, horror games, even if the mood in the stream is fully immersed, it doesn't hit me the way that horror movies do. And I don't know quite why, but
it's probably, I'd say it's probably freedom of camera movement in all actuality.
That's
horror movies force you to look in very specific ways. And when writing and drafting the storyboard for a horror movie, perspective is one of the first things they think about.
True.
Outside of cutscenes, horror games, you're supposed to be looking around wildly. You have a level of control that you don't have in a movie. And I think that's a really important piece. When I'm watching horror movies, like even to this day, if I have one where I go, I'm really curious about the story. If I ever feel like the camera framing is set up to scare me and I'm like, I look away. I do something different and I just wait till it's done because I'm like, I don't have control of this moment. And I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like having no control.
Because for the vast majority of horror games, I don't even see them as horror. Then, I watch Resident Evil and see, that there's like really creepy stuff, but it doesn't hit me in the same way, and that I do end up watching those. Winding back a bit, Prince Ducky Dillon in chat is very clearly a Professor Layton fan and is also vouching for the series. They also bring up a similar one, well, perhaps not similar, but one that is tied hand in hand, which is the Phoenix Wright series. They actually have a crossover game, which is incredible. They blend
that's another one I've been
really well. And that's another one of just, obviously, it's mysteries. So if you like mysteries, you will very much enjoy Phoenix Wright.
The 4 mystery games that I've been like being told that I need to do is Layton, Phoenix Wright, the Nonary games, and then it had been Danganronpa, but I finally got through Danganronpa a few years ago, and I became obsessed. Like I was one of those girls.
I saw the first season of the Danganronpa anime and then a couple episodes of the second season, which was of Danganronpa 3. 2 just didn't exist.
2 is the best one, which is what really sucks. But I also feel like the anime doesn't properly capture what makes the gameplay so addicting.
Yeah, and I think I realized that because I bounced off of the second season of the anime, but I loved the first season.
I'm back. Sorry, hold on.
Yeah, no, saw a blip there.
Yeah, I know someone came in the office. But no, we're good now. Everything's fine now.
So Layton, the other thing that Ducky Dillon mentioned is that the first 3 games, they pull a Star Wars. That you have the first 3 games and then the second 3 games are a prequel trilogy. I would say play them in release order.
I typically do, because they expect you to have done them in that order when they release them.
I do think they can still be enjoyed effectively as much if done in chronological order, because they are unrelated enough that I don't think it actually changes anything fundamental, but that you can see the aging of the older games, and I sort of worry that if you were to play it in chronological order, but then you would get used to the
new stuff,
the quality of the new stuff, and then the step backwards, I think, is what would be the problem. I think
it's better to grow up and like slowly get the quality of life booms as you go.
Exactly.
Rather than get used to quality of life and then roll back, which is my warning for anyone that picked up Persona 3 Reload or Persona 5 and then they go play Persona 4. And I'm like, you're going to hate your life.
Yep. Because
do it the other way. Don't do that.
The original trilogy has aged very, very well. I don't think it's actually, it wouldn't be a drastic reduction, but it's still a reduction.
Yeah.
So definitely, Leighton and Phoenix, right? But as soon as you mentioned that the series that you're reading right now was another archaeologist, I was like, ooh, Leighton.
I'll probably start with Leighton just because of the correlation. Because, like, if there's one thing I've noticed, the author must know a lot about archaeology and be passionate about it, because it's very clear how particular they are about driving home how specific things work and how carbon dating works and how this works and how that works. No, but it's something that I'm being force-fed a stupid amount of information about, which will make it more relatable content. So starting there and then moving forward will probably be the best move.
Yeah. It also taps into some other things that we've discussed in elements that you've said you enjoy in mysteries, and I won't say which ones because that would be spoilers, but I will say that there are even more reasons beyond the surface level why I think you would enjoy those games.
That's very exciting. I will definitely have to find time to check them out post Pokemarch.
That's one of those series that I feel, even to this day, is just a little bit underrated.
Oh, God. Sorry.
Oh, that's what it was. Sorry, I was sort of like racking my brain. And it was like there was one other thing that I had in the back of my head. Like I mentioned, I usually will watch not horror, mystery series, mystery shows that I don't read as many of the books. One particular series that I have very much enjoyed over the past couple of years is the Knives Out series, which it's only 2 of them at this point. But I'm not sure if you have seen those movies.
I haven't seen it, but I've been told about them.
They're very good. Those, if we could get a Benoit Blanc film every 3 years, it's very much designed a la Poirot, Sherlock Holmes, where you have the consistency of your main detective and that everybody around them is going to be different. If we could get a Benoit Blanc film every 3-4 years, just till the end of time, I'd be super happy. I think they have a very good character. I think Rian Johnson, I think mystery writing is what he was always meant to do. He's done a lot of different genres. I think mystery was where he was supposed to be all along.
Hell yeah. Some people are just meant for it. They have a good concept of twists and turns. Yeah. There was a book I read recently that had me stumped in ways that I have never felt before. And I'm like, damn, I have to pick up any book this writer makes. It's called The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, and it's quickly become one of my favorite books ever. Because it's just so unpredictable. The concept seems so classic, but they have twisted it in ways that I can't even begin to like properly wrap my head around. So the main character wakes up as what they believe is an amnesiac in the woods, right? They're screaming, they hear gunshots, they have a name on the tip of their tongue that feels important, but they don't know why. They run to the nearest house to discover there is a house party going on. They go through the whole day trying to piece together who they were, what was going on, and at the end of the night, one of the girls that he gets to know, Evelyn Hardcastle, dies. And then the day resets. And he wakes up in the body of a different guest in the hotel and looks out the window and sees himself from the day before running up to the hotel.
That's an interesting Groundhog Day twist.
So there's 7 days. And every day, he's going to wake up as a different guest on the same day. And every day, Evelyn Hardcastle dies. If he does not solve it by the 7th day, his memory is completely wiped, and it resets from day 1. He has to solve the murder. But there is 2 other people body hopping.
Oh.
And it is insane. Oh my God, I could not. Every time I thought I understood things, I realized that someone was someone else, or that was him. He was talking with himself the whole time.
Because now, I don't know.
There's so many layers.
At what point in the story do they reveal that other people are body hopping? Do we get this in the first loop?
We find this out immediately.
Okay. All right, so that's an upfront thing. But now you have the layered mystery of not only are you trying to solve the mystery, but you also need to piece together where are the other body hoppers right now and which, if either of them,
and then there's the
friendly
loopholes. Exactly. And then one final twist, which was the cream of the crop for me. People's brains, right? Humans are different in personality, and their brains physically change how we think. Well, like my brain is different from your brain physically.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens if a different personality is in a different physical brain?
Oh, there could be variations.
There's personality traits and behaviors that are compulsive that changes per person.
And that even if there's a level of underlying consistency in methodology and personality, that there will still be variation.
Mm-hmm. And then we look at comprehension, language, all kinds of extra layers that you would never think of.
Oh,
but the second you're in that person, you're thinking of it. It was so incredible. I cannot begin to describe the level of thinking I had to do to even understand what was going on. Yet they found a way to present it to you where you didn't have to be a genius to understand it.
And this is
you just had to be a genius. Yeah, one book. It's a standalone book. Whole thing self-contained.
Or just like a mini series. Give me a 7-episode series, and each episode's a day.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. The book was incredible. I could not. I don't think I'll ever find a book quite like it.
Now, admittedly, when you were going through this and explaining the premise, my initial guess was, okay, the 7th day, they are Evelyn, and if they don't solve it, they die.
I can't tell you. That's the best part, is I can't tell you, because I know there's going to be people in chat that are looking the book up, because this book's incredible. It's incredible. It's very much worth the read. There are definitely some parts that are like, oh God, like it'll make your skin crawl. Like they touch some like, oh shit kind of areas. But it is incredible. And every time, there was one thing that I sniffed out really early, but I could never tell if I was right. I started referring to it as a crackhead theory. And then I turned out to be right. And I was like, I don't know what instincts told me I was right, but I was right. And I was so proud. But the book's amazing. Yeah. The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. That's the one. Every bookstore I go to, when I walk to the murder mystery section, it is on the recommended table. Every single bookstore I've gone to.
So we're probably going to get a movie. Someone's probably already optioned the rights.
I hope so.
Actually,
and if they fuck it up, I'm going to be livid. Because it is so hard to find a murder mystery that like reimagines the system. They took a classic Victorian castle, like straight up Agatha Christie concept, and put so many unique layers in classic recipes. I just was
son of a...
Yes.
I went to the wiki page. To be clear, no. I scrolled down very quickly to avoid that.
Okay.
Adaptation. In December 2020, it was announced that Netflix had bought the rights to a 7-part series adaptation. That was my concept.
2020, though.
It was reported in January 23 that after 2 years of development, the series had been canceled.
That tracks. Honestly, I think it would be very hard for them to properly capture the twists and turns of this book physically. It would be amazing. I truly believe it would be amazing. There is a few points I can think of that would be... It would rely on the actor's physical ability, not their voice, not their inflection. A lot of the storytelling is done in ways, which is crazy to say about a book where there's no fucking pictures, but a lot of important tells are entirely physical.
Mm.
And I feel like that would get very hard for them to capture without changing certain aspects.
That would be a very unique acting challenge of, okay, you are layered acting happens in writing. It's pretty rare, and those are always the most complex things. All right, you are acting as this character who is acting as somebody else.
Right? Like, and how do you vocally create a character that changes 7 times but still sounds like them somehow?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many layers that, like, in order to properly capture this book, they would have to find incredibly talented actors, and in the middle of 2020 there's no way, not during COVID.
That's the other thing of just, I could fully believe that the timing undermined it, that they might have had something, but that
if it had been picked up right now, if it had been picked up right now, maybe. But even then, it would be quite the challenge.
And it makes me wonder, though, maybe given a bit more time, that if the book gains enough popularity and traction again, that maybe another production could get greenlit that
could revisit it, yeah.
And that it would be potentially even bigger scale than the initial one. That
it's happened.
It was optioned in 2020, and the book release was in 2018. So, it had 2 years, but if even now you are seeing it in bookstores on the recommended shelf that many years later,
every single bookstore I go to,
that indicates that it is not only persisting, but if anything, it is probably still on the upswing. And that if you get that, then you can potentially get greenlit for, AAA Hollywood cast type of thing, a la, have you seen the Branagh Poirot movies?
No, actually.
Ooh, those are really good.
I'm not as big of a moviegoer. It's something I need to fix.
Do you know who Kenneth Branagh is?
No.
He has played a lot of roles, mostly known for his theater work. One of his most iconic sort of pop culture roles is he was Gilderoy Lockhart in Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He's done full theatrical adaptations of many, many, many Shakespeare films. Like, he's done Henry V. He's done Macbeth, I think, and a whole bunch of others, and he's just a very good actor, but that he's at that point in his career where he's had his fun and that he is able to just sort of play around, and that he apparently really likes the Agatha Christie Hercule Poirot books, and basically called up his buddies and said, hey, I'm going to be directing and starring in a film. You want to come shoot a movie with me? And a lot of people seem to like him, so people said yes. Let me actually get and Express Branagh. That the first in the series was Murder on the Orient Express. They've also done Death on the Nile, but it's Orient Express. Tom Bateman, Penelope Cruz, Willem Dafoe, Judi Dench, Johnny Depp, Josh Gad, Leslie Odom Jr.,
stacked.
Michelle Pfeiffer, and Daisy Ridley.
That's stacked.
Death on the Nile, Annette Bening, Russell Brand, Ali Faisal, Dawn Finch, Gal Gadot, Armie Hammer, Rose Leslie, Emma Mackey, Letitia Wright.
Agatha Christie is literally the mother of murder mysteries. Like, she created the recipe that we all consistently use.
Yep.
Like, don't get me wrong, Sherlock Holmes was a very incredible start point for this kind of stuff. But I feel like Agatha Christie really...
She got the formula.
She created the formula of the whodunit. Whodunits really was, like, she figured it out. And to this day, a good murder mystery, everyone will attribute to have a Agatha Christie style to it.
Mm-hmm. And it's just a bunch of A-list actors that the movies have done very well, that they more than made up their budget. But at the same time, it's not going to be something that gets the crazy blockbuster level money. But it's clear that all the actors there are just having the time of their life, and just they knew what they signed up for, and they're playing. They're having a really good time. So I would definitely encourage you checking that one out.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Murder on the Orient Express is actually one of the first books I read. So that's actually kind of funny.
Oh, yeah. And so you know how Murder on the Orient Express goes then?
Yeah, yeah.
And, just all-timer for a reason. They do that one real well.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, it's a very good performance, and they make, like, some very slight changes in how they convey the ending, but I really like it, and that they don't change anything fundamental. It is still very much Murder on the Orient Express. There's, like, the smallest of changes, but all-star cast. It's so fun.
Sorry.
Frankenstein was a good book. Kenneth Branagh was in a movie adaptation of the original book of Frankenstein.
Really? Oh, that's crazy.
Because I remember it was the summer before my senior year of high school. I was going to be taking AP Literature. And the two books we were assigned over summer, if memory serves, it was Frankenstein, and I think it was Henry V, or, yeah.
Okay.
And that I knew that there were movie adaptations, so in addition to reading, I also just wanted to see the movie. And that I stumbled into the fact that Branagh starred in both, and I was just like, wait a minute. Is my English teacher next year just a big Branagh fan?
With good reason, though. Sounds like he's been in some really good stuff.
Yeah. Definitely encourage those ones.
Yeah, for sure. Media to check out.
Well, it is starting to get a little bit late, and you have had, like we said, a very long day. So
yeah, my voice hurts.
I have just a couple last questions that I ask all my guests.
Yeah.
And first is, do you have any goals for the year? That we're here in the middle of March, so still a lot of time to go. Are there any, projects, any types of streams? Anything that you're hoping to accomplish here in 2025?
I've got a lot of goals for myself. Right. I've got a lot of goals for myself this year. I feel like I've really hit the point of, like, I want to hit the ground running. I really want to do a lot of music stuff. I already cleared one of them. One of my goals for this year was being in concert. Already cleared that one, so that's awesome.
Hey!
I want to release my first original song this year. I've been trying to do a short every day, which obviously I knew going into it I wouldn't be able to do actually every day. But if I'm able to hit like 200 shorts by the end of the year, that'd be great. And I'm editing it all myself, so that's been a bit of a challenge. I've got a lot of like specialty videos from like chat bets I need to catch up on, and I want to like do them all myself and catch them all up. But beyond that, I just really want to, I guess, do my best. I know it sounds kind of silly, but I feel like I've been doing this for 5 years, and I feel like I haven't really properly recognized what my best is. And I've always held myself a little bit below the bar. But what if I really gave it my all?
You've also had a lot of things that have gotten in your way over the past 5 years that, without having to go into all of it, bottom line is, Angel Steps, you've got a combination of bad luck and just, I feel like every time I turn around, it's like, dang it, she's sick, or just, some crazy thing happened, and that...
Murphy's Law hates me. Like, I'm always getting the bottom of the barrel. I'm always sick. I'm always having some sort of house disaster or a family death, and it's been this way for years. And I always feel really bad because I would tell the community about my problems all the time, and I've been trying to do that less because the ball doesn't stop rolling, and life has been kicking me in the ass for years.
But you are still here, and that for every time you have been knocked down, you have gotten back up.
Exactly. But I know at this stage that life is not going to stop swinging, and I can't wait for the moment where life stops swinging. Like, if I really want to do this, right? If this is the career I want to push myself to do is content creation, I need to go harder than I've ever gone before. I need to find my limits, break them, and find new ones. And find a way to do it that's not self-destructive, which is, the trap. But I love this. I absolutely love this. And my whole life, all I ever wanted to do was make people happy. And now I finally am in the career where that is real. And everything I've ever trained in my whole life for, all my years of singing practice and coaching, all my years of piano, all my years of acting, everything I've ever done in my life is conjoined for this. Like, I don't believe in fate, but if fate is real, fate brought me here. And I cannot let this slide because of stress or illness. Like, I need to find it in me to give it my absolute all and climb that goddamn mountaintop no matter what life throws at me.
And I'm a big fan of the saying, luck is preparation plus opportunity. And in all fairness, there's not been a whole bunch of opportunity for you. But boy, howdy, have you been putting in the preparation.
So, I don't think I've had opportunity outside of the day I made my channel on YouTube during COVID. And then YouTube decided to kill me. So I don't know
because of all the preparation, that is why I'm so confident that when opportunity does finally come your way, that you are going to be ready for it.
I'd like to hope so. But even if I'm not ready, goddamn, I'm going to give it my best anyway. It doesn't matter.
Fake it till you make it is very real.
That's my whole life. There's a few things on the background that I can't talk about that are the dream. And I have every opportunity swung at it like a fucking psycho. Because it's been almost a year now since like the moment clicked where I went, oh, this is it. This is what I need to do. This is how hard I need to go. It was when I got my new model and I started taking music serious, and like I had a conversation with a friend, and it felt like I was getting verbally slapped across the face for not giving it my all. And I realized that I was kind of doing that thing where I was trying really hard, but I was using the fact that I was trying hard as an excuse to not succeed fully. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't pushing barriers. I was just going, I'm a hard worker. Smile. But what's the point of hard work if you're not actually going to push that next barrier? And I don't mean like CCV, right? I don't mean things like that. I mean like making things that people enjoy. I want to make something that isn't just, oh, hey, I played Cobblemon today, right? I want to make content that, like, if you're just someone who can't see streams and you're just a regular person, you're just a normie and you're scrolling shorts, like, if I got some random person to giggle because I said something stupid, that's a win. When I made the Christmas concert, that was a really big one. That was an insane project. It was basically making a whole movie. But I wanted to make something for people who didn't have families to have the perfect Christmas with. Like, I need to be putting my effort into continuing to grow the channel and making sure that I make enough money to fund these projects, of course. But I need to make things that actually change people's lives, because that's the point. That's what it's all about. It's not about me. It's about the people watching. And it's so easy to get stuck in this loop of just doing that you forget that what you're making matters to someone. And I need to be pushing that barrier with everything I can every single time. And that's my goal this year, is to put that effort into as many things as I can do. And there's gonna be days where I just play Cobblemon, right? But if I work really hard and I make enough money to do it, I need to be putting all of that into making things that change people's lives.
So this is episode 167 of Vtuber Talk, and the two last questions are something that I have asked since episode 1. In some of the early episodes, I had a couple extra ones, but chopped the ones that I felt weren't doing well and, getting good answers, but that I've kept these last 2. And sometimes over the course of the show, the guest will address the answer to the last question, and that we sort of bring it back again with the last question. This might be the first time that when asked the second to last question, that they basically directly answered the last question and did a fantastic monologue that completely sort of invalidates the need for the last question. So congratulations for stealing my thunder. But
sorry,
because
I'm very passionate about this.
But that's the thing, because that's what I always look for, and the fact that you got it right there and gave it to me without me even needing to ask is so freaking cool. Because the last question that I always ask every guest is, what does being a VTuber mean to you? And that's not what is the definition of a VTuber, but that for you as an individual, what do you get from it? What do you seek from it? That some folks have said, VTubing lets me get in touch with my inner child. It lets me be someone I can't. Others have said, it's a tool in my tool belt as an actor, as a performer, that, I think my model's really cool, but I don't necessarily have a deep emotional connection to it. And there's varying shades in between and even beyond, that there's multiple ways that people can interact with VTubing and identify with VTubing or just not identify at all. And that your answer of your goals for the year, I think, basically also covered what VTubing is to you, and that's being able to impact people's lives. And I will fully give you the opportunity if there's anything else you want to add, but I also think that if you want to say, yeah, I covered it, that is also valid at this point.
I feel like I'm probably just going to elaborate on that point. I don't think there's anything wrong with excuse me, voice is really fucked at this point. I don't think there's anything wrong with creators that are really focused on like their identity as a creator. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I've just realized through the time that I've been doing this that that's just fluff at the end of the day for me. That entertainment, right? If you're an actor, if you're a singer, if you're doing anything creative, your heart is in it, and your heart is the core, but you're making something that's for other people. And the most powerful thing in this world, the closest thing to magic that literally exists in this world, is when you are able to create something that instills feelings and waves in other people that change things, right? Like, society as a whole is literally just something we've created. And whether I was a VTuber or an IRL streamer, or if I had gone down the other paths I had tried in my life before, like, it really just came down to, I want to change how people feel in a good way, right? Yeah. I want them to hear a song that on the day they have a breakup holds them together. I want to do a performance that, you know, they're cheering with their lights and their wands, but it's not about me. It's about the happiness they experience in that moment, that memory they make, the friends they make in the community, which is already actively happening. You don't have to be the number one, you don't have to be Iron Mouse to make a difference, right? Like, we're making differences today. And I need to just make sure I keep making those differences at every given opportunity. And that is everything, and it will always be everything for me, and that won't change. I just have to make sure that I don't go bankrupt trying to do it, because god damn it, is this field expensive.
Yeah.
When I found out the price of the average original song, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. I might never be rich. I want to own a house, but I might never. And that's okay, as long as I spend my life focusing on what matters, you know?
Mm-hmm. I always ask that question at the end of the show because, one, it helps put a nice little bow on everything. But
yeah, it's a good wrap up.
At the same time, while I never know how a guest is going to answer, the answers always make sense because they usually end up relating in one way or another to different things that were discussed over the course of the many conversations. And I think that, once again, it is rung, especially true here. And, you know, you mention things being able to impact people, and that it sort of goes back to Pokemon. And you were mentioning how the Pokemon anime really helped shape you in that. And that I think back to the Pokemon anime, and it's not something that I have ever really said, oh, this was formative for me. But I also look back and say, I was absolutely a Pokemon kid. I am still a Pokemon fan to this day. And even if I am not consciously aware of it, even if there's not necessarily a moment that I can point to,
it gave you a feeling of happiness that has lasted your whole life.
And I also have to guess that somewhere along the line, even if it's not something I can point to and say it was that moment, it was that line, or that it came into play in this scenario of my life, that having interacted with that franchise for so long, I'm sure it had an impact on me. And that even if it's not something that I actively attribute to it, that the overall themes of, like you were saying, you know, just persistence, and it's not even just the whole friendship thing that a lot of shonen anime does.
Yeah.
But the, you know, the struggles, and goodness knows, keep getting knocked down back up again. Ash doesn't win any of his leagues until Alola. It took the guy 25 years as a 10-year-old to do that.
I feel like I relate in that value because I just keep getting L's, but it's okay. We keep going, man.
But also that they had him get a little bit farther every time.
Yep.
Because he made top 16 in Indigo, then it was like top 8 in Johto, and then it was top 8s and top 4s for a while, losing the finals another time. That they had him scaling it. It was, the longest of the long games, but that they showed his improvement.
Yep. It only took 10 years, but that's how life is. Like, nothing in life comes easy. And whether you're a streamer or you work a retail job, whatever the fuck it is that you're doing, like, you're going to be constantly growing and evaluating yourself. And it's not easy. You will spend your life failing no matter what you're doing. But that doesn't mean that you are a failure. Those failures are just lessons and they're steps forward. And as long as you constantly listen and learn, no matter what it is that you're applying in your life, like, you can go farther. And some of us are in fields where we have the ability to, I guess, like, showcase that and maybe help those steps that you're taking become a little easier, or give you a thought or a backbone that you may have not had before. And it's just a constant battle, but sometimes battles are worth fighting.
Absolutely. Well,
yeah.
I do actually have one last question.
Okay.
Don't worry, it's not as complex as the other ones. And that's who would you like us to raid?
Oh, Tane.
That was easy.
Yeah,
also, I should have seen that coming. I really should have seen
I'm a very predictable person.
I gave her a shout out earlier in the stream. And then, Tane was on the show. Gosh, I can't remember the exact episode number off the top of my head, but she was year 1.
Chat, don't laugh at me. God, I love my best friend. God damn it.
And
I love her so much. She is the best person in my life. Wherever I go, she goes, and vice versa.
She is just absolutely fantastic, super entertaining. Has stopped by and been part of, I think, all of my. If it wasn't all of the charity marathons, it was like all but one. The other one that she couldn't make was because she was busy, but she wanted to be here, and that I've been able to be on a couple of things of hers. And I know, obviously, like you said, you two, you mentioned on stream earlier today that you were basically going through Tane withdrawal because you hadn't spoken with her in almost a week, which is nigh unthinkable.
We literally hang out like 2 times a week typically because we work together. I've always struggled to like build friends, but I've become extremely close to Tane, and then Rama and Norma as well, and like all 4 of us are very serious about content creation. We're very serious about our channels. We're very serious about making things that make people happy. Like, we all share that line. And usually Wednesdays we all kind of get together and work. Me and Tane mainly. Norma, being in New Zealand, her schedule is hard, but she comes in when she can. And then I usually find Rama at like 2 a.m. and we're like, it's time. But because like we spend so much time working together and then doing collabs and whatnot as well. Oh, there's an underscore at the end of her name.
Oh no, I always forget that.
Yeah. Because we spend so much time working together, like we do a lot of collabs as well, like 4 or 5 collabs a month. It's actually quite insane.
You also released a cover song together recently.
Yes. I was. That meant so much to me. When I came up with that project, I was like, the best closure for this script when I wrote the script was I wanted to do like a musical friendly, like Pokemon, like something that's just about friendship. And I was like, damn, I gotta convince 2 people who don't sing to sing with me, and that's really scary. And I really thought they were gonna say no, because outside of Norma, Rama and Tane don't do music. Really thought they were gonna say no, but they didn't. And they wanted to do it, and we all did it together, and it really means a lot to me. I don't care if that video gets like 10 views for its entire life. It's a passion video about me and my friends, and I don't typically make things about me, but this is one that is kind of about me, and so it's very special to me.
Mm-hmm. I'm not able to shout out Norma for another couple minutes, but Norma is also fantastic. Stopped by for the charity marathon a couple months ago. I have not actually met Rama, but I have seen her around.
I'll have to introduce you because Rama's amazing and I love her.
She also seems lovely, yes.
She's in the Minecraft thing. You'll see her around. She's in the Minecraft thing.
Perfect. Yeah. I'm very excited for that. I've gotten very busy the past couple of weeks, months, which is why I haven't done as many shows lately, but hoping to get things scheduled and ramp back up. But in the next couple days, not only do I have the Cobblemon server, I'm going to be paying off one of the charity marathon goals next week, which is going to be a Monster Hunter stream. So that would be a lot of fun. I have been basically playing Monster Hunter a lot in the off time that I've beaten Chapter 3, which is basically the core campaign. And I'm at like probably almost 30 hours, which isn't as much as some people, because some people no life that thing and it's kind of scary. But
Yeah.
I get it now. This was the first Monster Hunter game I played, and it's like, oh yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, I've been meaning to pick up this one.
Yeah, so between that and Cobblemon, I have my gaming slated for me for the next couple of weeks.
Well, as long as you're having fun, that's what matters. But yeah, I want to raid Tane because I love her and she's doing her Cobblemon thing.
Yeah. So, again, thank you, Angel, so much for making time in your very busy day, very busy schedule to stop by. Thank you so much to everybody who's been in chat, whether you got here with the raid or stopped by somewhere else along the way. Also, thank you, Philfred213, Sento Patlomi, I'm probably butchering that, Nobodies or Somebodies, and Prince Ducky Dylan for the follows, and Orbital Locket. Thank you all so much. Hope you enjoyed. I cannot promise anything even remotely resembling a constant stream schedule because I do my best to schedule around the guests. So if you want to see more shows like this, you can just follow me here on Twitch or on Twitter. And Blue Sky, it is just Vtuber Talk in all the places. But if for some absurd reason you aren't already following Angel, please be sure to correct that and do so. She is wonderful, as is Tane.
Thank you.
And be sure to let her know that Angel sent you all. So thank you all so much. You all have a great rest of your evening. Have a wonderful weekend. Angel, I will be seeing you around. And
absolutely.
Have a great rest of your day, everybody. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.